With the first pick of the 2024 MLB draft, the Cleveland Guardians select Travis Bazzana.
Jig is up, jury's out. I pass away before I figure out who to trust, who to doubt. We're in the dark, I saw the curtains down. Yeah, jig is up, jury's out. Yeah, pass away before I figure out who to trust, yeah, who to doubt. We're in the dark, I saw the curtains. You're always on my mind, so obsessively. I know your body and your time so separately. You always hit me up when life is getting me down. I'll skip the freak outs and fall on my own. But this shit always happen when I open up. We ran it back round two because I'm close enough. And I don't wanna let you down. I know you hold you up. This case is open shut. Before you go, we still ain't got the luck I need, baby.
Cause I know I bridge the gap between what I want and what you see in me, baby. Just had to let off some steam. It gets crazier the more you have to talk to me. Wide expectations arise past the ones that we set. Cause God, you always leave me shameful, playing it careful. I swear shit gets painful when you talk to me. Try to align my ideals to meet your strategy. You earn my trust just to fuse it with your fallacies. Why can't you take a plea? Guess I'll just sew myself up, go to turn, baby.
Welcome to our Cleveland Guardians rebuild, where today we are going to follow along with the career of new first overall draft pick, second baseman, this is not where I want to be, second baseman Travis Bazzana, who is the first Australian player ever drafted first overall. Now, Travis Bazzana is a pretty interesting player that we are going to be building around here, and that's because he's actually got some power, he's got some speed, yet we might not see him for a little bit yet. In the past several seasons at Oregon State, he put up 28 home runs last year, and including his junior year, he has a 52 stolen bases in the last two seasons. So the power, the speed, and the contact ability are all things that we are really going to value here with Travis Bazzana as our new kind of future for the Cleveland Guardians. They won the lottery and they were rewarded with Bazzana. Now, the other picks that are going to be on this roster are the other two first round pick, their compensation pick and their second round pick. Their second round pick is catcher Jacob Coatsart, and their compensation pick is, I am already blanking on, Braylon Doughty. Starting pitcher Braylon Doughty. Each of these players are going to be core aspects of this future team that we are intending to build around, and I'm hoping that today we can go on and win a World Series or multiple World Series with Travis Bazzana and the Cleveland Guardians. Now, what are our goals and intentions going to be for this rebuild? Well, I think it's important to value the hometown prospect, or at least the hometown of our prospect, Travis Bazzana, in Australia. So we're going to set ourselves a goal to draft at least 2 more Australian players to be on this team. And our hope is that those players can contribute to future World Series as well. Australia is not a large location to get a lot of prospects from in this game, but if we can try to get them, we will do so. Our other goals are going to be to win multiple World Series. One, I'd like to win one with still having like Jose Ramirez on this team and a couple of the core pieces that are still around. And then we need to win at least one where Travis Bazzana is the best player, or if not the best player, one of the top 2 best players on the team. Position players, that is. Pitchers could obviously be the better player. Secondary goals with this are that our hopes are that we can maybe win an MVP with him, maybe win a Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, any of those awards that we can possibly add to the case for Bazzana, which I think are the more interesting things if you can end up getting him, and then hopefully getting him into the Hall of Fame by the end of that path. Now, Whether or not MLB The Show will put him in the Hall of Fame, that is going to be a discussion that we will have to make. Maybe we will decide at the end whether or not he has a Hall of Fame career and maybe compare him to some other Hall of Famers at the second base position. And so with that, that is going to be our goals that we are going to set out for this Cleveland Guardians rebuild. We do want to get some World Series championships. Cleveland has not had one since, a long time ago. I don't even know. World Series since 1948. That's a long time ago. Their last time that they appeared was 2016, in which they had a 3-1 lead and lost it to Chicago Cubs. We hope not to do the same here. And so we want to bring some future intrigue and interest to this team, hoping to build this around Bazzana and then other players as well. Get us maybe some more Cy Youngs, keep this interesting pitching staff they have in young core. See if we can get Clase into like the 600 save club, which I've seen him get into in this game. And with that, we also will acknowledge that because this game is taking place now and this draft is still upcoming, we do have the first overall pick in this first year. There might not be a lot of realism to that, but it's kind of worse to try to skip that, so maybe we can get another generational talent here at that first overall pick. So just to take a quick look at our rotation and lineup, we have Bieber in the starting spot as our ace, and we still have some younger pitchers like BB, and you've got Gavin Williams, and you have McKenzie, all of those guys who could end up being our aces, plus obviously you have Clase as your closer for our generational kind of like bullpen arm that I'm hoping can do better than every other bullpen arm that we put in our team. Lineup wise, the main core is going to be around Kwan, Ramirez, Jimenez, Naylor, David Fry. Now, I might have to go in and do something about David Fry. David Fry regresses really fast in this game, so there's a chance we might trade David Fry pretty early, and I hope that that's okay for you Guardians fans, because while I would like to have him be a core member of the team, I know that he gets really bad really fast in this game, so we'll do what we can for like year one with him, but we might move off of him in the offseason after year one. And we got prospects. Rocchio, you've got Manzardo coming up too, and then obviously Bazzana, Cozart, all of that too. So with that, we're going to move on to the draft, in which we are going to hopefully find ourselves a generational prospect to add to Travis Bazzana, plus maybe some Aussies to add to the team as well. I also forgot to mention, we are using the mighty GOAT V3 rosters, or at least V4 rosters, I think it is. I can't remember exactly what it was titled. I had to customize them too, because I also added in some of the trades that have recently occurred at the time of me recording this, including the large one of the Randy Rosarena trade to the Seattle Mariners. So with that, just to kind of acknowledge you where we are at with our rosters when you see some of these guys. We have made some changes to a current set of rosters to get all the draft picks, at least the top 2 rounds of draft picks, and some of the trades that have already occurred prior to the trade deadline. Starting the 2024 MLB draft, I think it's important to note, while I did my scouting, I scouted pretty much every position player near the top. And one of the reasons for this is because I do think it's valuable to try to see which players are better. I also think the position players are more valuable to get near the top of the draft. In that, there's a couple that I found, mainly these two right here in Jeff MacArthur and Rich Tapia. Both of them have actually very similar skill sets. I think that MacArthur is a little bit more of a defensive guy, whereas Tapia is more offense. Now, I don't necessarily know which one has better value, because scouting them, they look the same. I think I'm going to probably end up going with MacArthur, simply because if the rest of the league values him higher, then I might as well value him higher. But like looking through the rest, there were a lot of really decent looking prospects. Like Rene Esposito right here is somebody who I would normally not hesitate to draft. Ricky Reeves is another guy right here, similar skill set. He's just an infielder. We're going to pursue outfielders a little bit more, and there's good pitching too. But a lot of guys with high potential. This is a pretty stacked draft, and the only thing that sucks is we have one pick in the top. Actually, we have 2 firsts, but you know, I wish I could draft more than these guys. So what we are going to do is we're going to take Jeff MacArthur with our first overall pick. And hopefully he's the best player here. Now, we won't know until the draft. I'll be curious if they take the other guy. Yeah, Rich Tapia. So the Reds get the other top guy, the other left fielder. And they get Rene Esposito. So those, I think, are the three best players in the draft. So we will have to take a look at what Cincinnati and Colorado got as well when we finish this. But let's get to our compensation pick. And let's just take a look at what's still around on the board. Because if there's any of these guys, position players that I scouted that I have value on, I want to take them. But it doesn't really look like it. I'm going to check quick. So Chris Horn is considered the highest ranked, but I don't like... So when I scout pitching, and this is something that for you, if you are trying to figure out what you want to draft when you're talking about pitching, often I'm looking at hits per nine and walks per nine because that gets your whip lower, which allows you to kind of have more success, not giving up as much hits, don't have to rely on the defense as much. And I think that has a lot more value when it comes to wins in MLBTheShow. So hits per nine and walks per nine are the biggest value. A guy with, you know, red numbers in current hits and walks per nine does not have as much value to me as like this guy who's got higher value in the walks per nine category. His hits is still pretty low. But the one I do value here is Tom Wong out of anybody. And then I think he'll still be there. So the question is, are any of these other guys not going to be there? Phil Gomes will still probably be around. And Ishii doesn't have as high of a ceiling. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to take the pitcher, not Horn, but Yamashita with this pick. And hope that Tom Wong is still available. He is. So we are going to take Tom Wong with this pick, being a little bit safer. Phil Gomes is still on the board. This could be a guy that I go with, but I might just see if there's anybody who... Yeah, we are going to take Ivan Iglesias because the CPU will likely value him more than Gomes. And I want him more than I want Gomes anyways. So we're going to take Ivan Iglesias. Gomes did go off the board, so sadly that did not work necessarily in our favor. But there's other guys that I have value on. I like that pitcher. And then there's another Yamashita. Oh, was a shortstop I liked gone? I think so. Yeah, somebody took the shortstop I liked. We're going to go Fabregas. He's probably the best player still up on the board. And with that, it doesn't really look like much of the board is very good anymore. So we will probably go with Hugo Lehman. Then we have one less pick. We can go with Luther Cousins, I guess. Yeah, we'll go. Or is Sean Price better? Sean Price is a position of value, but so is Cousins. 22, 22. Neither of them are going to play for us. Taking a look at our draft picks, I think we knocked this out of the park. MacArthur is a 92 potential, 73 overall already. Good contact against righties. Looks like more of a contact bat than a power bat, but I like that type of thing. And while he's a left fielder and we've got Quan out there, that should be nice to put in maybe right. He does have defensive range, so maybe he could just be a center fielder for us. And we could have Quan in left, MacArthur in center, and then maybe Chase DeLauder in right. It depends on who ends up being the better outfielder to come up, because I don't think Brennan or Straw are going to be the long-term outfielders. When it comes to the rest of the draft, Tadahito Yamashita was very good, 92 potential. This is going to be great. Now, it's going to take him a little while to get there. Walks per nine is good. I like to see that. So he might come out of the bullpen early and then become a starter soon. So that you might not see him for like another 4 seasons, I would think. Tom Wong was a little disappointing. 76 potential. He was on the lower end of that spectrum. So not really what you like to see. Kind of feels like a wasted pick. Ivan Iglesias was a little bit lower than the range that we had scouted. So not very happy with that one either. But at least it's an 82. He could be something decent. Hector Fabregas. Okay, that's phenomenal. honestly, if you look at him and you look at Yamashita, the only difference being that Fabregas is 3 years older, he looks like he'll probably even be better. So it's going to be a question of which one of these two are going to be the better ace. And then at the back end, you've got Lehman and Cousins as decent catchers. Now, I do want to go take a look. We want to look at what those other guys ended up being. I'm also going to move a little bit slower because I want to see if we missed any big pieces. But we're mainly looking at the Reds and the Rockies. So Rich Tapia, 91 potential. Like I said, he's a more all-around bat. So I think he's more interesting when you talk about hitting. Whereas we've got probably a better defensive player, which could be, I think, is more valuable. One of the reasons I took MacArthur over Tapia is just a little bit of bias. He's 5'8", and MacArthur is 6'3". A little height bias, I guess, in that pick. Let's see, who else? So now we got to get to the Rockies too. Just want to make sure there was no other interesting players we missed on. Phil Gomes was a 78, so he was better than Wong, but not by enough to make it substantial. And Esposito is a type of player I really, really like. Contact, vision, discipline, clutch. If we cannot fill out our outfield, Esposito might be a guy who I will look for in the future. He'll be really interesting if you consider what that team ends up being if they have him and they have Charlie Condon out there in the outfield. He's short, so, you know, but I don't think that makes too much of a difference. They had a fantastic draft. Wow. But yeah, and Chris Horn was decent, but I think we got the better guy in pitching. And Sean Price was also decent, but he's a 47. So we are currently leading our division, not by much, by 2 games. We should be a playoff team. Everybody is playing pretty well this year. And the question is, when we get there, if we can capitalize on that. I also did give Shane Bieber a contract extension for 6 years, $120 million. I think it is important for him to just be the ace during whatever run that we put up with Jose still on the team and Jimenez still on the team and maybe the Nailers. I know they have their contracts coming up soon. So this season, I'm hoping that we can make a good run, and I'm hoping that we can retain this division lead that we have held all season long. 89-73, we win the division. We will be taking on the Seattle Mariners in the divisional series. I think this team, I mean, this is an AL Central type of division title where you don't necessarily put together a great season, but you put together enough to continue to just hold the lead over the rest of your division for the whole season. 89-73, we had a better offense, or we had a pretty good defense, only giving up 640 runs. But yeah, we are the lowest win total team in the AL. The Cubs are the only team that's worse than us in the whole playoffs. So, yeah, we kind of cakewalked through this playoff run, or, through this season to get that playoff possibility. And so we'll kind of see. Like, I didn't want to make a big investment at the deadline. There weren't really any pieces that I thought would make a lot of sense for the Guardians to make a large trade for. We do need outfield, but I also was like, I'm not going to make one of these giant trades for Luis Robert or for Garrett Crochet in the rotation. And so we just kind of stuck with our team for this season. I think if we're going to make any changes, we'll make it in the off season, where I'm going to go for free agents. I just didn't want to give up any assets, which I think is a pretty Cleveland Guardian thing to do. So pitching rotation wise, McKenzie wasn't that great. I'm concerned about Tristan McKenzie because I know he can end up being very good, but that walks per nine is still so bad that he just walks way too many people, and it gets base runners on, and that's fine if you're a low leverage reliever, but it kind of hurts because I think you want to see him be a lot better than what he ends up being a lot of times. And the rest of the bullpen wasn't that good. Clase, even with a 4 ERA, gave up and blew 8 saves this season, doubling his home runs that he gave up last year. And so, you want to see better. And this might just be, me controlling it. I don't know what happens. I don't know why. Whenever I control it, my closers are just horrible. So, I I'm hoping that we can get a better season. This is a bit of a fluke from Clase. Because he's going to be here the whole time, no doubt. Bieber with a 3.26, 119 whip. Very good season from him. Good season from BB. Good season from Gavin. Good season from Allen. Boyd was the kind of the one standalone guy that wasn't necessarily as good, but he's also the guy that doesn't really fit within the team. He will likely not be back next season. I don't think McKenzie's going to take his spot. The question is if Espino or Curry can come up and take that spot, or if we will find just a free agent pitcher to put in that 5th spot of the rotation. I don't really trust McKenzie just yet. When it comes to the lineup, they sent anybody down? They did not. Okay. So Miles Straw, not that great on the bench. Austin Hedges is Austin Hedges like normal. Just a purely defensive catcher and does nothing else. Gabriel Arias was pretty good as a bench second baseman or utility kind of bat or player, more utility defensive player when you think about all the positions he can play. George Valera is the one who didn't play, so they did call somebody up. Esteban Florial. Esteban Florial was actually pretty good, so we'll swap him and put him back up in the lineup because he actually wasn't that bad in his bench role. Actual rotation, Stephen Kwan with a 3.23 average. He does win the batting title, so we didn't look at the awards, but he did get the batting title, so my bad. We will look at the awards in a second. Andres Jimenez hit very well, 294 for Jose Ramirez, with 37 home runs, 30 home runs for Josh Naylor, 26 for Fry, who did not regress that much, regressed contact-wise, but did not regress. I will take it. 239 from Brennan, 266 from Freeman, 256 from Rocio, and 251 from Bo Naylor. We do have award winners, just the Stephen Kwan, but third in the MVP race is Jose Ramirez, so we will take that. So Stephen Kwan does win the batting title this season, which is probably what he will do in... Actually, no, he's not leading anymore, I don't believe, in IRL real life. Shane Bieber leads in innings pitched and Kwan in batting average. He does not get to the top of the hits though, so he did not play as many games. I do want to see a player like Kwan play like 162 games. So, you know, when you've got a potent bat like this, a guy who gets on base as much as he does, you want to make sure he plays every game. So I'll see what we can do with Kwan to make sure that he does play a little bit more. Maybe it's just because I had a lot of outfielders, but and I don't feel like getting rid of all the outfielders because we do actually have a good, decent amount. But maybe a guy like Straw will be gone, and that's an ugly contract. We'll figure out what we can do to trade that out. And then we've got all the prospects coming up. So it'll be interesting, I guess, with Kwan because I want him to play 162 games. And that's going to be a little tough if he's not. Okay, back to the award winners. Jordan does win the MVP with Gunnar Henderson as the runner-up. In the NL side, it is Shohei Ohtani with Yelich as the runner-up and Matt Olson there. Cy Young goes to Freddie Peralta and Kyle Bradish. Batting title goes to William Contreras as well on their side. So, couple interesting players on the NL side as well in the award races. And so, yeah, let me adjust this. Oh, we should also look. I moved Bazzana up to AA. Okay, I don't have stats because he did not play enough, I guess. So I moved him to AA, but he did not play. We might invite him to spring training next year. I might wait. I'll see what we do in free agency before that. So let me go and adjust the lineup, and then we will play Seattle. And so Bieber, BB, and Gavin Williams will be our rotation for this first series. We get an 0-2 loss. We get no offense in game 1. Game 2, BB versus Kirby is a 2-0 victory as they get no offense in that game. And in game 3, Gavin Williams versus Luis Castillo. We do win that one, going up, winning 6-5. That is a 9th inning victory. So Clase blew the save, by the way, because it's me, so that would make sense for that to happen. And then we still get the win, though. All right, second series, we are going to go... Do I want Matthew Boyd pitching? Not particularly. So we will go Logan Allen. Let's change this quick. Pitching rotation. I don't want Matthew Boyd pitching, so we will go like that. Logan Allen can still pitch, but I don't really trust Matthew Boyd. So Logan Allen versus Framber Valdez in game 1 is a 9-4 victory. Game 2, Bieber versus McCullers, is a 1-8 loss as Bieber gets lit up, so it wouldn't have made a difference. BB versus Christian Javier in game 3 is a 2-12 loss. And in game 4, we lose that one 3-9. Pretty quick beat down by Houston as they make it to another ALCS. Simming the rest of the postseason, the Dodgers defeat the Astros in the 2024 World Series. You could not have come up with a more anticlimactic type of ALCS, NLCS, and result. Dodgers, Braves, Yankees, Astros. Yuck. So I want to get rid of that Miles Straw contract, and Jose Tena is going to be the other piece that we are going to put into this to make this work. We're just going to try to get a backup catcher, maybe a starting catcher, depending on Naylor, and just kind of Naylor's production. And Joey Bart is a player who, in the Pirates rebuild, we traded away right away. So I figure, why not try to get him back right now? And we're just going to get Joey Bart for the next couple seasons to be our backup until Cozart or Velasquez or whatever, one of these other catchers, can develop to be an actual backup catcher. I'm also going to make a trade with the Rays to find our 5th starter. I couldn't really find one in free agency besides overpaying. Not really overpaying, but like paying big for Max Fried. Now, I offered him a lowball contract, so there's still a chance we get Max Fried. But my thought is, I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to just kind of do a Raysy-like trade here. Get the last year Zach Eflin, throw him into the rotation, and then hopefully Curry, McKenzie, somebody will end up being good enough to be able to take that spot. Or there'll be another interesting pitcher the following year that we can make a move for. And we're going to get rid of Will Brennan, Angel Martinez, who I like Angel Martinez, but he just normally doesn't have a spot for us on this team, especially now with Bazzana, John Kenzie, Noel. And I just think that all three of these guys I don't see having much of a future. So they're kind of our post-hype players. We're going to move them all for Zach Eflin to the Rays. Starting the 2025 season, we are going to be rolling with a pretty similar team going into this upcoming year. Only differences are going to be kind of on the edges. We are going to have Zach Eflin now in the pitching rotation, and I'm going to have Curry up here as well in the bullpen. So McKenzie and Xavier Curry are kind of going to be fighting for that 6th spot. One of them will hopefully end up being in this rotation next season, unless, we find something interesting the following season. And in the bullpen, Hunter Gaddis, Karinchak's going to actually come back up and pitch for us, Henches, and hopefully we can get a better season from Clase. Lineup-wise, we did make one change, one big change, and that was Teoscar Hernandez. I got him on a 3-year for $20 million with a club option on that last season. So I thought, it's not a player that we normally get a chance to go after, and maybe he'll be interesting to just kind of fill out that outfield that is kind of weak right now. And we're waiting on, Valera, DeLauder, and now MacArthur, which all should end up being good enough to take those spots sooner rather than later. Maybe Quan ends up being a DH for us. To get more at-bats out of him. I know he's a good defensive player. So it ends up, it's a question of what is going to end up being that outfield. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for this upcoming season. We have Joey Bart here. Manzardo is going to be up. And we're going to probably pursue just scouting guys, seeing what development we can get. Because the main thing that we're focused on, I think, with this team at the moment are our prospects, which you've got Bazzana, and he is actually technically the highest out of all of these, the guys from the draft, which makes sense. But is Bazzana, and then MacArthur, DeLauder. Hopefully these guys can end up being good. They can develop and they can take the place. So maybe we should recruit pitching, I guess. Trying to improve our pitching. I know we've got great pitching, so we can contend right now. So let's try it. Say this draft doesn't look as good would be kind of like understating what I'm feeling like I'm finding. Now, admittedly, when I'm scouting, when I see a bunch of 18-year-olds, that's a lot harder than when you find guys that are JUCO and college players, because you can't scout them as accurately as you can when you get older players. Scouting time just takes longer with younger players. And because of that, if you're trying to get more players and get a broader spectrum of guys, younger guys are a lot riskier, which makes sense realistically. And this class had a lot of younger players. Now, the only times that you generally see me draft a bunch of like 18-year-old guys are when they end up being pitchers. Now, none of these guys are examples, but like this. And that's because when I do pitching, I generally do like a lot. I do the whole group because you can get 40 guys at once. So we are probably going to end up drafting a lot of pitching in this draft. It depends on what is all available. Now, I don't think Cameron Gordon's still going to be there, but these two guys, Antonio Ramirez and Emil Reyes, while they don't have the stat categories that I generally like, normally I'm not going to be granted an opportunity to get two guys like this at the same time, because we do have a decent amount of picks. Now, I don't know what's going to be available when we get to our pick at pick 23. If it's good, which I can hope that it is, then we might be able to get some of those pitching, or some of those pitchers. If there's an interesting position player at the top that is still on the board, we will take them, because I do think that position players still matter more than pitchers, because we can get so many of them. But let's first see. So those two pitchers are on the top, plus this pitcher, who technically has a probably more interesting stat block than the other guys. So, okay. But when it comes to position players, none really. The first interesting one is this George Casilla, who is all right, but he's kind of power, decent contact stats, but I don't really think that we need that, knowing the outfield that we already have. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the pitchers. Now the question is, which pitcher do I want to go with? I think for both of these guys, for Ramirez and for Reyes, who are basically the exact same prospect, I think I might wait for my. Yeah, I don't know if you can wait though. I was gonna say I might wait and take one of like Sanchez, who's just got a way better walks per 9. No, we're going to take the risk. We'll take the risk, and we're going to go with, I think, Emil Reyes here. Just going to avoid the opt-out from the other guy, from Antonio. All right, so with our second pick, we can still get one of these pitchers. And I think what we're going to do... Maybe I won't. Is there any other... Let's scroll through. Any interesting hitters? That guy wasn't really that interesting, but he was a hitter. This guy's got interesting contact. You know what? This might be a pitching only draft. We could just go pretty much pitching only, I think. I don't think that matters that much. We'll go with him. Luis Rosario. William Santos still on the board. So boom, we'll get them both. All right, now we can go with a little bit. I'm going to grab one position player here, Lee Landgraf, who doesn't have a very high ceiling, but could be something. And now I'm just kind of taking guys that I think could be decent. I also didn't scout the back end of the draft like I normally do as much. I think interesting position versatility for Steven Zachary. And then Carlos Medina's still here. And now round 6. What's the best player available? Do I just go with yeah, we'll go with Suzuki. So that'll be our draft. Don't think it's going to be as good, but maybe some of those pitchers would be great. Who knows? We have the best record in all of baseball right now, but that's only pretty much because of our pitching. And so we need to fill in some gaps in our lineup that are really, really underperforming. One of those guys is Brian Rocio. And so the way we're going to do that is we are going to trade for Geraldo Perdomo on the last place in the NL West, Arizona Diamondbacks. They've got Lawler waiting in the wings. I think Perdomo might be a good piece to get. We're going to give them prospects Rodriguez, Gabriel Arias, and Cooper Ingle. I know it feels like a little bit of an underpay, but I don't really know what else I could give them, especially because they value Arias over Brito, who I do think is a better player. I guess I could just give them Brito. Yeah, Brito's a better player. We'll just give him Brito. That trade is technically still possible. We'll make that deal instead. Just feels more fair to them. And hopefully that will end up helping getting a little bit more offensive production, because we are lacking in a few spots. We are going to make one more deal in which we are going to go talk to the last place in the NL, entire NL, Washington Nationals. We are going to go looking at Stone Garrett and Lane Thomas. I know these are two players. Normally you wouldn't make this type of deal, but we are going to trade away David Fry and prospect Tanner Burns, simply because I do think we need more production. Fry has not necessarily been the most productive for this season. I talked about it, where he doesn't really get better, and he really hasn't. He has kind of underperformed this season, and so I want to do something in order to return that. I'm gonna once again throw him a little extra, because I do think that it would make sense to give them a little bit more in this deal. We'll just give him Balazovic, who I got on free agency, and we'll get Stone Garrett, who has a couple years left, and Lane Thomas, who's on his last year, for this playoff run, which I hope can end up being really, really productive for us. And so, taking a look at our draft picks, I think the pitching that we drafted ended up all being kind of exactly what we were looking for here. I don't necessarily know if I like the stats that he has, but Emil Reyes, 94 potential. He'll still be a while before I really trust him. This might be a guy I'd be more willing to trade, just knowing that walks per 9 and hits per 9 are as low as they are. But I do think that there's still value in him because of that potential rating. I think all three of these guys, maybe Santo's the only one who's kind of safer in this regard because of that walks per 9. But we'll see how they all progress. These three pitchers are, that's a great draft to hit like that, and then still also get Medina here later, who's got 86 potential. He's really far away from being valuable. For the bats, I like Landgraf, and his hitting looks more like a DH because he cannot play defense, whereas Zachary is a lot more of a defensive guy and power. Looks like a Gary Sanchez or Joey Gallo almost. And then this reliever is whatever. He's a reliever. Will be interesting. I want to check if we missed out on anybody that we did not get. Just looking for blues right now as I scroll. Interesting. That's a blue. They did horrible. Wow. Wow to the Cubs on that miss of a draft. And missed out on this guy, Takatsu. I did not scout the West Coast, so I don't blame that. Okay. And Chad Jean, we took over, we took Landgraf over him. Seaver did not scout the East Coast. I missed this guy. All right, that sucks to see. Otherwise, yeah, that doesn't look like we did that bad. And then I don't remember who the other pitcher was specifically. He should be a second round or like a second or third pick. I'm just looking quick. See if I can remind myself of the name while I scroll. And I don't know if I can. Oh, they didn't get that guy. I liked that guy, but they didn't get him. So he'll be in next year's draft. All right. I can't find him, and I don't remember what his name was. So never mind. Maybe the third round pick? All right, whatever. We're still in first. We just went on a huge winning streak after making all those trades. So 74 and 37. I think this is a pretty easy call to make the playoffs this year. The Guardians are not an organization that is known very well for buying, and yeah, 108 wins I think is an adequate reason to actually go in and make some buy moves and go in and try to actually make some moves to win a World Series, because this team was, dominant this season. 108 and 54. That's probably one of their best seasons of all time. And I think we have some award winners too, because we were really, really dominant. So looking at the award winners, Cy Young goes to Gavin Williams. We get the Hank Aaron for Josh Naylor, the MVP for Josh Naylor, and the Josh Naylor gets the triple crown, winning all three. Oh my God. So Josh Naylor is your MVP. We have Gavin Williams with the Cy Young, even though Shane Bieber was better than Gavin Williams. Naylor with the batting title, with all the top three guys in the batting title race being Guardians. And then he also got the Hank Aaron Award and would have got probably, I'm assuming this is home run champ, 1 home run away from the home run champ too. So absolute domination. I know that's technically not a triple crown then, because I think you need to lead the league in home runs, but it just feels like it, you know, when you get all 3 awards, whatever. Naylor, absolutely dominant. Our pitching staff, absolutely dominant. League leaders, Gavin Williams in winning percentage, because wins matter more for Cy Young awards. RBIs, batting average, hits, slugging percentage, on base. The top 3 batting averages are all Guardians. When it comes to hits, 200 hits for Naylor, 198 for Jose, 188 for Quan, 181 for... Okay, yeah. This over 50 doubles there. We had 46 home runs there for Naylor. Led the league in RBIs. OPS, only 1 dot guy on the AL side. On the NL side, it was Mookie. I'm assuming Mookie wins the MVP. I should go back actually and look quick, because I was just looking at AL. Nope, Ozuna. Ozuna wins the MVP over Mookie. Glasnow. Okay. They got Corbin Burns. I hate the Dodgers, man. So yeah, let's take a look at our team. Pitching rotation. Nobody got sent down. Curry did, but let's just look. Curry 309. Yeah, he'll be up next year. So McKenzie 441 in the bullpen. Still not very good. I might trade him, to be honest. He's got 1 year of arbitration. I don't like the production. I mean, 4.41, 1.4 whip's not that bad. What's his FIP at? Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Okay, he's bad. Yeah, we're gonna trade McKenzie in the offseason. I don't like that at all. Bullpen. Gaddis was all right. Henches was all right. Eli Morgan only had 2 innings. Cade Smith was all right. Sandlin was only 10 innings. And 382, 1-2 for whip for Clase, because you know when I take over, guys just don't perform at the level they're supposed to. Negative WAR pitcher for us with Emmanuel Clase. Actual rotation: Bieber 307 ERA, 1 whip, 193 strikeouts, 368 and 1.4 for BB, 328 and the Cy Young for Gavin Williams, 303, 105 whip for Eflin, which, by the way, while I'm recording this, he was just traded to the Orioles, so I apologize, as he should not be on our team. He should be on Baltimore, but we probably won't bring him back anyways, so it's not like it matters. Logan Allen 373, 135 whip. This rotation was absolutely knockout phenomenal. I think Heron was up. Yeah, he wasn't very good. And Karinchak was so bad. I'm just, he's got to go. Okay, he's so bad. So we will see. I think Curry will be back up in the rotation next season again. We'll figure out how we're going to fix this rotation next year. But the main thing that we want to look up is the lineup. Now, who did they send down? I sent down Arias. He was really bad. I didn't send down Rocio, but he was really, really bad too. That's why we went for the Perdomo trade, and Florial got sent down because he wasn't good either. Pretty much, besides the guys that we had in the actual lineup, most of our players were pretty bad this year. Joey Bart was a very good pickup. He mainly hit just lefties when I changed it in the second half of the season. And he was pretty good against lefties. Freeman wasn't that great. That was what instituted the need to go after Lane Thomas and Stone Garrett. Lane Thomas was not really that great either, but, you know, as a lefty platoon bat for this playoff run, I'll take it. Quan was amazing once again. Andres Jimenez was very good. Jose Ramirez was very good. Naylor was the MVP. What was Naylor? Yeah, we love it. We love to see it. Teoscar Hernandez wasn't that bad, though. Yeah. He's not worth the money I'm paying him. I don't think. So, I mean, we'll run him back one more year, but Yikes. Garrett 259 was pretty good. We will probably keep him around. Perdomo, it's all right. 249. He's not where he should be, but I'll take it at shortstop, especially if Rocchio is going to be bad. And Naylor was not very good. Has some power, but I think that Bart will continue to keep that. We'll have the catcher spot for the playoffs. And Manzardo, I had him as the DH at September because I could not decide against righties if I should have Freeman or Thomas, or I didn't know who I was going to put in this DH spot. So I just brought Manzardo. He's literally the only guy who is like good against righties specifically. Pretty much everybody else that we have are guys that do really well against lefties, besides, you know, Naylor, Quan, and the actual like stars of the team. So I am going to, I don't think I have to fix much. I will say Bazzana was down in AA. He was very, very good in AA. He was hitting at like 320, 330. I brought him up to AAA and he was hitting below the Mendoza line. So I sent him back down to AA. We might call him up for spring training this upcoming season, just to kind of get him a chance. I want to see what he can do. But I don't think I mean, we could also wait. It's not like we're in too much of a rush for him with this team being good. MacArthur hit over 300 at AAA the whole season, so he might just be a guy that's going to come up now too. So we'll figure out what we're going to do next season. But for now, let's get into the playoffs and see who we face as the winners of the Twins and the Rays. And so we have the Minnesota Twins, which hopefully with our pitching rotation, we can just kind of come in and get a clean, I'm hoping a sweep against this team. Bieber start with a 4-1 victory. BB in game 2 is a 7-1 victory. Game 3, the Cy Young winner versus Joe Ryan gets an 8-0 victory, clean sweep. We now have the Yankees. I think what we can do, not like I need to, our whole pitching rotation is good. I really shouldn't need to change anything, but what we are going to do is I'm going to move, I think we're going to do it like this anyways, because I want the opportunity to have Williams and Bieber pitch 2 games. If we need them, you know, if we need to go 7 games, I'd like to see that, because at this point, by the time that Williams pitches, he's already been a week. So, all right, Zach Eflin versus Garrett Cole in game 1, 7-5 victory. Game 2 with Tristan McKenzie right there. So that means, yeah, we scored at the end. Game 2, Bieber versus Nestor Cortez is a 1-0 victory with a nice shutout for Bieber, with the only run coming from Josh Naylor. Take it. Jose Ramirez and Stone Garrett had stolen bases. Gavin Williams versus Carlos Rodon in game 3 is a 3-0 victory. Can we get the sweep? Tanner Beebe versus Garrett Cole. We get the sweep, and we are going to play the Atlanta Braves in the World Series. So let's adjust our pitching rotation. We are going to go back to Bieber. I think I'm going to have Bieber, Beebe, Gavin Williams, Eflin, Logan, Allen. Yes. Okay, so opportunity to play the Braves. Bieber versus Spencer Strider in game 1 is a 7-6 victory, which we win in extras in the 10th inning. That looks like, I wish I could see who scored that last run. I think it'd be cool. But we're just going to say it was a Stone Garrett sacrifice fly to win the game. All right, Tanner Beebe versus Ronaldo Lopez in game 2 is a 3-11 loss. This is our first loss of the postseason. That looks like we gave all those runs up with the bullpen, as Curry gave up 3, McKenzie gave up 2, Morgan gave up 2. Not what you'd like to see. Game 3, Gavin Williams versus Bryce Elder is a 0-3 loss. All those runs coming in the 8th from our bullpen. Hunter Gaddis. All right, game 3, Zach Eflin versus Casey Mize, who they now have somehow. All right, we lose that one too. We are now down 3-1 in this series. I hope that we can come back. We're going to have Logan Allen pitch this one against Spencer Strider. We lose. Yeah, that sucks. But hey, we made it to a World Series pretty early already. Playoff MVP goes to Josh Naylor. Bo Naylor with the runner-up, and we're keeping this team together for the most part. I'm going to look at what we can do. Maybe I'll bring Eflin back. Maybe we'll let him go. World Series MVP is Ozzie Albies, by the way, with the postseason being Matt Olson. That's a good team to run into. Colorado made it to the NLCS. Okay. So, see you next season, I guess. Since we've got a bunch of outfielders that we have, including now Stone Garrett too, what we're going to do is we are going to make a move to get rid of Teoscar, send him to the Padres, and we're going to get Jeremiah Estrada to be a good reliever in our bullpen. I always think it's good to have just as much relief talent as possible, especially when you never know from season to season which bullpen arm is actually going to be very good. So we're going to get Estrada and then another relief prospect for Hernandez and a pitching prospect. Jordan Walker is still without an opportunity in St. Louis, and so I think what we're going to do is we are going to then make the McKenzie deal, McKenzie and Karinchak, to the Cardinals for Jordan Walker. That way we have replenished a reliever from Teoscar Hernandez, and then in return also got a right fielder in the McKenzie deal. So it's like 2 for 2. We just kind of swapped our pitcher for an outfielder and swapped our outfielder for a pitcher. And pretty much a like farm swap for farm swap. We are going to trade away Arias, Florial, and Tommy Mace. These guys don't have options, to the Phillies for a reliever in Kekkerin, and then Bergola and Saldeman, 2 prospects that do have options.
Training baseball coming your way. It's the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Cleveland Guardians.
I'm normally not a spring training type of guy, but we got Bazzana up. And so it's time to actually check out and see what Travis Bazzana can do at the bat. Bases loaded versus Nick Lodolo for his first at bat. Ooh, big line drive. Sack fly. He gets an RBI. Let's get him his first hit too.
Sometimes that can be a little tough to score. Now it's the second baseman. 0 for 1 so far.
Oh, perfect. Nice single for Travis Bazzana here in his spring training debut. Starting the 2026 season, trying to come off of our World Series appearance last year, we made a few changes. I think you saw pretty much all of them that we made. We did get Eflin back. We signed him to a 4-year deal, front loaded, with a contract option on that last year that I can get out of if I want to. Otherwise, we'll just trade him out. I was considering, walking off of him, but when I looked at free agency, there wasn't really any other players that I felt were of his caliber that would be cheaper, and I didn't necessarily believe that Curry was ready to take that spot. And I prefer Curry in this long relief role anyways, I think, just because of the lower stamina. So Curry will be our long reliever this year. We have Kekkerin now up, as well as Estrada, who we have moved for, and the only signing we made was Jordan Romano, who I signed to a 4-year, $16 million deal. So the bullpen has changed a little bit, but it's just kind of like, yeah, we stacked it up. The pitching staff is really, really good. Now, the thing is, we don't necessarily have as much depth as we've had now in the past. We have Espino, who is going to be coming up next season, no matter what. So the hope is he can perform really well here in AAA this season, continue to progress. I haven't really liked what he's done so far at AAA, so I'm not necessarily very happy with what we might get out of him, but it's possible. And then you also have our relievers like Gaddis and Heron, who I had to send down to make some room. So, interesting pieces in the rotation. Lineup wise, at the MLB level, we have our new right fielder in Jordan Walker, who was replacing Teoscar Hernandez, and you have Stone Garrett on the other side, so that'll leave Quan in center. The other move that I have is I have George Valera up. What we are going to wait on is I want to make sure, and I need to make sure he's actually playing here, but I want to see Bazzana perform well at AAA. If MacArthur plays really well at AAA and somebody like Freeman is not playing as well in the MLB, MacArthur will come up as soon as possible. The same thing goes for DeLauder. These 3 guys are our next up. somebody will probably be up this season. I'm not necessarily sure who. I just hope that one of them, performs to a level that makes it like, okay, we can bring, we can bring this guy up, put him in the lineup, and be confident. Especially if somebody doesn't perform this upcoming year. I think I like what we have. I think I like some of these players that we have in the outfield. Freeman, Valera, and we've got prospects that are on their way. But I don't necessarily know what we are all going to be able to stick with. We did, for pitching staff, I gave an extension to Gavin Williams as well for 10 years, $130 million. He won the Cy Young. I feel like you just got to get him locked up then. I know we had several years of team control left over him, but I was going to get this deal done now while he was a little bit cheaper and just kind of lock him up for long term. Otherwise, I think the closest, BB. BB's the closest guy to being out, but I think we've got our rotation pretty much set. Like, this team is what it is for the most part. I don't think anybody is even really coming up on an expiring deal for a while here. Just Sandlin and Henches have 2 years left, and those are relievers that I can probably re-sign. So this season, recruiting wise, we're just going to get best player available, and our hope is that we can put together another 100 win, something like that season. I don't necessarily know if we're going to get that level of production that we got out of our rotation last year. It's the same rotation, so hopefully we can, and whether or not we can get the same from this top 4 part of our lineup. I'd hope that then, like, Jordan Walker and these guys down here can perform, and we can see some good production from some of the younger guys like Manzardo, Rocchio, Valera, and somebody can kind of actually confirm, like, hey, I'm the guy. I am the guy who's going to be in this spot. Because, I think I would hope that would be the case before Bazzana gets there. Bazzana will be up sometime this year, I would assume. Not even a week into the season, Bazzana with a shoulder tear. So we might not see him till September. George Valera and Manzardo in that DH spot have been struggling a lot. And so we're going to make a move, and we're going to bring Jeff MacArthur up, who has been hitting over 300 at AAA. And he is going to start up in left field now, which will allow Jordan Walker to move to the DH spot because he's not really that good defensively. And he's hitting 300. So it's a good move so far. Normally, I don't really look at deals that other teams offer me, but the White Sox just offered me Dylan Carlson. Oh my God, that was a struggle. Was on a 1-year deal. He's hitting really, really well. Could be interesting bench bat, at least for us. For Parker Messick, who, he's pitching really well in the minors, but he's never going to pitch for us at the majors. So, yeah, I'll take it. And so, starting our draft, we did a decent job actually recruiting guys. There's some very, very interesting guys that jumped up the board. One of these guys is Von Finnegan, who I'm hoping will still be available for us. I have my doubts. It's unlikely that we were the only team to be able to scout this guy and see that he was as valuable as he is, because we're sitting at pick 29, so it's pretty unlikely he's there. Meaning we're going to end up likely having a very pitcher heavy draft again, just knowing what guys are on the top. I'm curious what guys are available, but on Discovery, we did a really good job finding a few interesting players. Vincent Chen is one guy who I definitely need to take because we discovered him. He ends up being a pretty all-around guy, especially good defensively. We also discovered Lee Chang, who has very good contact and fielding. It could be pretty interesting too, especially if his overall is very similar to his actual rating. So he's a guy who I definitely would like to draft as well. And the last one is this Eric Fernandez, who we also discovered. So those 3 Discovery guys are valuable, and I want to draft this Yoenis Roberts, who did not get picked after did not get signed after getting drafted in the 2nd round last season. Now, basically, the one thing I want to talk about, a little bit of a caveat, is we talked about going into this drafting Australian players to match he must have been really good. But drafting Australian guys to match with Travis Bazzana. One thing that I've had, though, is we are in the 3rd draft. There has not been a single Australian player, and Von Finnegan does get picked before we can get to him, sadly. Meaning we'll probably have to go with Chen with this pick, which I'm okay with. But there has not been a single Australian player to even draft, not even regarding like if they're good or not. There hasn't even been one, which is kind of frustrating because it's like we haven't really even gotten an opportunity to look to see if anybody would be possible. They just haven't had a single player. So, I mean, we're falling a little bit behind in that sense. I wanted to take Pease there, but he's still here. Sweet. And then, oh, did Chang go? Yeah, he did, didn't he? I can't read, but he did. Oh, he went before Pease. Okay, he wouldn't have been available for me at all then. That sucks. I liked him. All right, then we are going to take Esposito. Probably. Yeah, Esposito. Yeah, so with no Australian players at all, it's made it a little bit difficult to draft the guys that I really wanted. And you know, it happens. It happens when you're doing drafts like this where you just don't get guys that fit your criteria. That's why you can't be too picky with your criteria, I guess. But whatever. It is what it is. We don't get two of the guys that I discovered, but I think we did had a good draft here anyways. So we'll see what those guys are. It does look like Espino is going to get his shot, though, at this season, as Logan Allen just got a shoulder separation. So he'll be out, meaning Espino will get his shot to be in the rotation for probably the rest of the season. Vincent Chen was the right pick. 91 potential at right field. Fantastic discovery find, to be honest. As you know, he's far away. He does not really have a good bat. He looks more of a defensive guy at first. But when he gets up, this guy should be a stud. He's 18. He's got a long way to go, at least, and that puts us in a position. Watanabe is really good. 88 potential. Could end up being good, and I like the hits per 9 and walks per 9. Keys is more of the bat. 89 potential. So I think we did pretty good here. Esposito, that hits per 9 already. With 78 potential, I mean, that's fine. I don't necessarily care too much. That's great. Jonas Roberts was that second round pick. I knew we needed him because of that. He's 5'7", of course. But 86 potential. Greg Madden was 87 potential. He's not gonna ever play. But yeah, very good. I do want to take a look at. I want to see what Chang ends up being, because we didn't get him, and I want to know what he was. Padres got him, I want to say. Also, Von Finnegan was a stud. So, yeah, if he was the guy that we got, then that would have made a whole lot of sense. This was pretty stacked at the top of this draft. Padres, right? And the Padres with Lee Chang was not as good. Okay. All right. Interesting. So we made the right pick then. Not that, like, you know, we had much of a choice, but like, I think in my mind I wanted Pease over him, but I wanted him over like the pitcher we got, and or Watanabe, and I think we made the right decision. The only one, like, if he was still here over Esposito, I would have taken Chang over Esposito, but I mean, not like that hurts either, because this looks kind of like a reliever. I might just I might switch him to a reliever right away because I like it as a reliever, those stats. So, yeah. All right. Another fantastic draft. We've had like 3 of these in a row. Now, can these players perform when they get up to the major league level? And we pull off a second straight 100-win season, going 162, taking on the winner of the wild card playoff game, meaning that I think we once again have the bye here. as the 1 seed in the AL. Nice to see. Award winners this season, MVP goes to Vlad Guerrero of the Boston Red Sox, who were the team to snap him right up. And Spencer Strider wins the MVP on the other side, and which I assume also means Cy Young. Yep. Roki Sasaki ends up on the Rockies this time. Zach Littell gets the... Oh, wow. Zach Littell gets the Cy Young on the Angels. 2.74 ERA, 147. I mean, McClanahan deserves it more, but, wins. And Bieber was third, which we'll take. So we will take that production. Batting title goes to Vladdy and the Moneyball A's, because with Soto and Schwarber, that's on base percentage. Yeah, that's just what that's a Moneyball team right there. That's what I would do if I was making a Moneyball team. Clase ended up having a better season. I think we had a pretty good year here. Nick Kurtz, also Moneyball A's. So I wonder how that A's team is. They did not make the playoffs, though. So no matter that, they didn't make the playoffs. Emmanuel Clase leads the league in saves. Well, that's probably why Soto got hurt. Hits leader is Vladdy with 215. Man, he had a crazy good season. And Connor Joe on the other side with another great season there, too. Home run leader was Jordan. Looks like our Naylor season was a fluke. Oh, wow, was it a fluke? 46 to 26 in 1 year with a regression after we gave him the contract. Okay. All right. It is what it is. All right. Okay. So take a look at our team pitching rotation. They sent anybody down. They sent Curry down, of course, because, he had a 3.25 ERA and a 1.13 whip. So he is obviously not a major league pitcher. Love it. This guy's been phenomenal out of the bullpen. I love to see it. He is getting a little bit worse every year, but we're also giving him more innings to pitch every season, so I'm not that bothered by it. He's actually getting better. He has the stats that I like. Espino was not good, and he's going to be in the bullpen next season, and I'm not necessarily that confident with it, so don't really like to see that. Gaddis should not be here. Kekkerin 3.73, Romano 3.36, Estrada 2.2, Henches 2.18, Cade Smith 1.3. Samlin wasn't that great, 4.6, and Clase. So the bullpen was phenomenal. In the rotation, your third in Cy Young, Shane Bieber 3.41 with a 1.17 whip. Gavin Williams, the last year Cy Young, 3.47. Very good season. Eflin had a down year here, down to a 4.3. BB with a 4.5, so not that great. And Logan Allen coming off of his injury with a 3.66 and a 1.25 whip over the season. Very, very good rotation, honestly, this year. Did they send any other guys down that I didn't notice? No. Just Curry and Espino for the playoffs. Lineup-wise, I sent anybody down here because it looks like they did. Jordan Walker got sent down. He was hitting 300 when we looked last time. He really fell off a cliff second half of this season. 259. Do not like to see that. He got ice cold. Dylan Carlson, when we traded for him, he was hitting 295. He fell off a cliff as well, down to 260. Was not really a good trade for us. George Valera, 213. Don't like that. And then on the MLB level, MacArthur was not good at the MLB level, hitting 196. Manzardo hit 187. Freeman was all right, hitting 256, being the lefty platoon. Bo Naylor was not good. But in the regular lineup, the top four were consistent as well. Kwan hitting over 300 again, 292 for Jimenez, 268. This was a down year for Jose, who's a 98 overall at this point. I don't like to see that. He's got a little bit more power now, but yeah. Get some more hits, dude. Josh Naylor with a down year after last season. I mean, 294 is not bad. Wanted to walk more. He definitely needs to walk more. Okay. Stone Garrett, 288. Fantastic pickup. This trade has been great for us so far. Stone Garrett. Perdomo was a good trade piece so far. We've got one more year left with him. Bart has been a good trade piece, as he has probably taken the catcher spot from Naylor, who I'm keeping on the team, but I'm not happy with him. And this DH was a revolving door all season, with Rocchio ending up having that at the end of the year. Yeah, I'm not that confident in a lot of our bats right now. I mean, the top end is great, but the rest of it, we're pretty top heavy. So I'm going to fix this. We are really, really reliant on this bullpen right now, and I'm not that happy about that. I might just leave Bazzana up, to be honest, for this playoff run. Doesn't play all season, gets to play in the playoffs. You know what? Why not, right? Not like anything else is really going to help. The guys that they sent, I mean, obviously Walker and everything will come up, but has not necessarily been that great from the bottom half of our lineup. So I'm going to fix this, and then we'll play the winner of Minnesota and Baltimore. And so we have Minnesota for the second straight year in the first round. We have Bieber, Williams, and Eflin pitching. They do have Zach Gallen, so this might be a bit of a challenge for Bieber, but we come out on top in this game. Game 2, Gavin Williams versus Pablo Lopez. It's a 3-5 long. Yep. Good job, Clase. Good job. Oh my god, I hate relievers. Okay, game 3, Eflin versus Bailey Ober. 3-1 victory. Please win this. BB versus Simeon Woods Richardson. It's a 3-8 loss. Okay, that's going to give us, I think I have to switch this to Bieber for this game. Bieber versus Gallen for game 5 is a 6-1 victory. Thank you. Okay. We have the Boston Red Sox, who are probably a really, really good team at this point, also knowing that they have Vladdy. They got Vladdy, who won the MVP this season. I need to switch this. So, sorry, my brain is not functioning. I need to figure out how to get this ready. Okay, Bieber is going to be there in that 4 spot. So they've got Vladdy, meaning that we need to win this one against. Oh no, not that. Against them, ALCS time. So Allen, Whitlock, Williams, Crawford, Eflin, Houck. So okay, yeah, we're gonna do that way. Logan Allen, game 1. 2-4 loss. Jordan Romano. I love giving up runs at the end of the game, guys. Gavin Williams versus Cutter Crawford in game 2. Okay, we lose that one. Eflin versus Tanner Houck. We win that one. Thank you. Our bullpen winning that game. I don't know that. I've never heard that name. All right. Shane Bieber versus Michael Wacha in game 4 is a 9-2 victory as Bieber does really well. So it's a 2-2 series. BB versus Giolito. Come on, BB. He gets it. All right. We win that one. We are up 3-2 for Logan Allen versus Tanner Houck. We lose that game, meaning we are going to have Gavin Williams versus... Oh, that was Whitlock. Gavin Williams versus Tanner Houck in game 7. Give me the 4-0 victory. We are going to play the Padres in the World Series, where I think what we're going to have to go is probably... do we go Eflin or do we go Bieber? I kind of want... Yeah, we can go Eflin, Bieber, and then we'll switch this to Gavin Williams. So that way we can go Eflin, Bieber, Gavin Williams with BB and Logan Allen finishing that out. Our bullpen has been rough in this playoff so far. All right, so they have Musgrove, Means, and Nick Pivetta at the top of their rotation. This team does not have a good pitching staff. Hopefully, our pitching staff can outplay them. Eflin versus Musgrove in game 1. We win that 2-1. Looks like that happened at the end of the game. Not really. It was just we got the score early, and then that matchup happened. Okay, game 2, Bieber versus John Means. We lose that one 1-5. Game 3, Gavin Williams versus Nick Pivetta. We win that 3-1. We are up 2-1. They're pitching Musgrove again here. I know they're looking like they're running a 3-man rotation. Hopefully we can kind of beat them because of that. Tanner Beebe versus Joe Musgrove. 1-4 loss. They're going Matt Waldron, the knuckleballer, in game 4. We can pitch Logan Allen here. Or game 5. Oh, do I want Logan Allen? No. We want Eflin. Then Bieber, then Williams. Game 5, Game 6, Game 7. All right, Game 5. Eflin versus Matt Waldron. We win that 7-3. Good choice. I mean, looks like we scored that 4 runs at the end of the game. Shane Bieber versus John Means, game 6. Let's go quick manage because this game is our shot. Quick manage. I don't want City Connects. Give me Holmes. At home, progressive field. Shane Bieber on the mound. Does anybody hit? Ooh, Perdomo. Yikes. And why is Naylor in right? Give me Bazzana. Give me Bazzana over Perdomo. Okay. Here we go. Bieber versus... Let's do this. Give me a good game, Bieber. Not Teoscar Hernandez getting that first thing. All right. Quan. Bazzana walks. Naylor walks. Jose gets a man on first and third for Jimenez, who grounds out. Solo home run from Tyler Freeman to take the lead here. Single from Jordan Walker. We are up 1-0. 1-0 lead. Oh, Manny Machado hits a home run to tie that game up. Joey Bart strikes out. Jordan Walker pop out. And let's see how much more. I mean, we'll try to see if Bieber can go a little bit longer. It's the top of the 7th. These are lefties. Go Henches? Or what's Jocks? Yeah, Henches. We would go Henches.
Now pitching for the Guardians, number 31.
Who gets out of that one, leaving Jimenez, Garrett, Tyler Freeman, 2 home runs on the game. All right. We are going to then... Is he bad against lefties? He is. We'll let Henches go one man. Oh, no. They're going to switch. And that means we are going to switch. We are going to go to Smith.
Number 36.
2 men on. Let's just do it now. Clase gets out of that. So this is going to be a 4-out save if he can do it. Jordan Walker walks. Fielder's choice for Quan. Bazzana walks. Man on first and second for Naylor, who strikes out. Jose Ramirez. Ground out. Clase. Pop out. Clase. Fly out. Enter the game. Can Clase get this last out for us and win the Guardians their first World Series since 1948? Team select. Against Luis Campuzano. Clase with the pitch. Drops that with a nasty slider to get a swinging strike. 0-1 count against Luis Campuzano. Grounder.
And that's it. They've won the World Series.
The Guardians are World Series champions. Just like that, Emmanuel Clase gets the 4-out save. Tyler Freeman being the miracle worker here in this World Series, hitting 2 home runs in Game 6 to be all of our offense and get the Guardians their first World Series in what would end up being 80 seasons. If you think about it, I think this is 2027. Brain? Maybe it's 2026. I can't remember. I've already forgot. But yeah, Tyler Freeman with 2 home runs in this as we win. If it's not 80 years, it's 78 or it's 79. I can't remember what year it is. It is 78 years. So we win the World Series here in 2026. Let's see who won World Series MVP. World Series MVP, Tyler Freeman. As expected, the hero of the Guardians. Now he's got to stay around. Now I can't get rid of him. I'm going to have so many outfielders, and Tyler Freeman's going to have to stay around. Stephen Kwan with the playoff MVP, as he had 369, and Jackson Merrill with the National League MVP. technically, if you think about it, we helped them get here by giving them Teoscar Hernandez, who, got them closer. We got a reliever out of it. So we helped San Diego get here. But we come out on top at home in year 3 already. And we're going to have Bazzana in the lineup next season already. So technically, see, this was the mindset. Now we got Bazzana a World Series too. Look, we were thinking ahead. We were thinking smart. All right. Going into next season, we will hopefully be able to run it back. I don't know. I'm curious what the bottom end of the lineup is going to look like now with production-wise, but I think we have everybody. We don't have to make any changes. I'm pretty sure we have the same roster going into next year besides Dylan Carlson. One of our weakest positions has been the catcher position, and so I'm going to call up the Nationals, knowing that Keibert Ruiz is 28 years old and they're still nowhere near being very productive. And we're going to give him a couple prospects. We're going to give him Austin Shenton, Jake Fox, Micah Price. I'm going to overpay a little bit once again, just to kind of make this a little bit more fair. And I'm going to get Keibert Ruiz in return. I'm probably going to also flip one of our catchers somewhere. It just doesn't make sense to flip them here in this deal. So, yeah. And the reason for that not making a lot of sense for them is because we're going to trade away Bo Naylor, who's 27. So it's like, what would the difference be for the Nationals going from a 28-year-old to a 27-year-old? We're going to flip off of Bo Naylor and we're going to trade him to the Toronto Blue Jays and just get 2 prospects in return. We've got a lot of catchers now, and Velasquez, I was considering trading away Velasquez, but he progressed to a level I want to see what he can do this upcoming year in the minors, as well as what Kotsar can do this upcoming year in the minors. Because Bart is on his last year, and we might go Keibert and then one of these 2 as the backups. So that's just my future thinking of what the catcher position will end up looking like. So I figure let's get some pitchers in return. I have too many guys, and there's some guys that don't really fit, I think, within this roster's future. Daniel Espino is one that I feel like is a hard move for me to make, as well as Rocio. These are 2 guys that I would honestly give more chances, but I need roster space, and I think I'm struggling to find guys that I would move on from that I don't want to give shots to. So Espino and Rocio are going to be out, and we're going to get 3 guys that at least have options and are just prospects that I'm not going to have to worry about for a couple seasons. So trade them to the A's. Going off to defend our World Series title, we have a very interesting roster, and we have a lot of interesting depth now, to the point where, like I said, we were just making trades that I needed to make in order to save up roster space, because we have too much on our team right now, honestly, and we've got guys that we have long term too. So pitching rotation is exactly the same as it was last year, the only difference being no Espino, because I didn't think he was very good. We will see what we can end up doing with our rotation. I gave an extension to BB as well. So, I mean, we're keeping this team together. I think Eflin might be out next year. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he does get cheaper, so we'll see. Logan Allen's probably only got a little bit longer. Curry's been so good, I can't necessarily get rid of him. So, and I did give an extension to Henches as well. So, I mean, bullpen is phenomenal. Pitching rotation is phenomenal. Our pitching should still end up being very good. And lineup-wise, I mean, yeah, we're going to have to make some ideas to make some room for some of these guys soon here. We're running the same team, but now I'm going to have Keibert Ruiz as the full-time catcher. This could end up backfiring on me really hard. Catcher is the only position that I have zero confidence in so far. And so if Keibert Ruiz doesn't work out, and neither Velasquez or Cozart on the minor league side end up being anything, we might swing big for a catcher, just knowing that that's a position that I just can't really fulfill right now. And the other thing is, one of those big swings might be moving off Jordan Walker, who I don't mind having. I like him, but he feels like the one where I'm like, I can move off Jordan Walker, because I think if we move off Jordan Walker, we could put, MacArthur out in the outfield and Valera on the other side, and we still have DeLauder too, who should continue to get better and will end up being in that spot as well. And then Manzardo is also sitting here now in the minors just because he has options. So we're in a weird spot because we have a lot of talent. Our team is a little older. We have a lot of guys still under contractual control, so it's not like we have to worry about anything leaving. The only guy who's going to be out here is going to be Perdomo. And we have to make room for Bazzana, MacArthur, Valera, and, and DeLauder. I think Freeman is just going to end up being our utility bat from now on the bench. I will give him an extension when he gets up to that point, but he was asking for too much money right now. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting season. I hope that like Bazzana and MacArthur can end up being really, really good here, especially because Bazzana is our focus in this rebuild. So I'm hoping that Bazzana can end up being really, really good for us. And we'll see what we can do this season. And hopefully as well, there will be an Australian player in the draft, please. Because I feel like I cannot fulfill that challenge requirement if they don't give me a single Australian player to draft. So we'll see you at that draft. It's only May, but we've won 15 straight games. So I just want to see how many more in a row we can win. I'm going to jump in and we're going to lose this game one. But I want to show it because we've won 15 straight, and I thought it's kind of fun to always see that. So in this game, we win that one. That's 16 straight. Now we've got Houston for game 17. We win that one. 17 straight. 18 straight here against Houston. Oh, we lose that one. Let's look at the box score. Bullpen blew it too. I mean, not like we had a lot of offense. We had 3 hits throughout the whole game. Home run from Tyler Freeman. And and the other hits came from Stone Garrett and Joey Bart. So, yeah. 17 straight. Still a lot of wins in a row. Yeah, this is why, by the way, we're on this win streak. Gavin Williams has 50 innings pitched so far. He has one ERA, 9.4 whip. He's only given up 6 runs so far this season. So think he can keep it up? We cannot figure out this catcher position, so I'm calling the A's. They're in last place, besides the White Sox. Last place of the AL. And we're going to give up Jordan Walker, Joey Bart, Isaiah Green. I'm getting Shea Langoliers. He is hitting 280. He doesn't have a lot of at-bats, but oh my God, our catcher spot has just been brutal this season. And we lost Bieber for 2 months. So we might have to go make another move to get a pitcher for the rest of the season. Now that we moved off Espino, I don't have many backup options. So we'll see what we can do. We'll make our Bieber replacement move after the draft and after All-Star break, as I kind of come up with an idea. Because he did get hurt right before All-Star break. So it does mean that I have a little bit of time to think on what players are available. Looking at this draft, and what I could find, it seemed kind of top heavy to a point where I'm not necessarily certain that I can get a lot of the guys that I liked in this draft. There are a few. I did really like Steven Caballero. Now we can end up, absolutely acing this draft, and it's going to make me sound like an idiot again. But I also do think that there's some interesting prospects here that could be fun to draft. But I don't necessarily know if we're going to get all of them. I'm probably going to target Caballero right away, just to be safe, because I there's a decent amount of pitching, but nothing that I'm like, oh, I need this guy, or oh, I need this guy. Now, if Caballero's there is a different question than all of it, really. But it seemed kind of top heavy. There was a lot of really, really good position players with the top. If I had a top pick, that would, end up making this draft feel a lot better, but I don't, and that's okay because we won the World Series last year, so I'm not complaining. All right, and everybody that we had on our board is still there. Also, that's because I didn't really go through and scout all these guys, or at least put all of them on my board that I didn't think we could get. Maybe I could have went after Calzado. I didn't think that I was gonna have a chance at him, but Caballero will be our first pick. He probably would still be there in the future, but I just figured that you gotta kind of, prioritize value. I don't really like Larry Diamond. I like Villegas better, but Diamond has a higher ceiling over Villegas, And maybe Villegas will still be here with our... Oh, we've got to pick in 3 picks. Yeah, let's take Diamond and Villegas. All right, that's those 2 picks. And now the question is, what else can we get? We are pick 105. We have 4 picks left. There are a few later picks that I like. You can see a couple first basemen here. I want these 2, but I want to wait. I'm hoping Mendez can be our last pick because I don't think he's that good. But let's see. So I don't really like the stats of Josh Hooper, but I can tell that he's a good player. You know what? Let's do this. Clemente Garcia is an extreme risk, but he could end up having a high potential. I don't mind wasting that on my 3rd pick. I'm going to take John Ott, who is a safe pick, but probably won't play for a while. Oh, and Luis Mendez is gone. So the reason Luis Mendez was on the board is because he was the first and only Australian I have seen so far. I don't think he's good enough to actually play for us, but that's why I was waiting for him. But, you know, we could pursue him if he was there. Let's see. You kind of see where I'm at. There's a lot of guys that don't have a large ceiling, and that makes me hesitant because I don't really like, you know, I draft for ceiling. I draft for ceiling because I know that that's how you end up trading players and getting good value out of them, is drafting for ceiling and hoping that those guys will end up being or having some value. So I think what we're gonna do, I never even scouted this guy, Manny Marquez. We're going to draft him. I probably won't even be able to sign him. And Joe Smith is gone. So he's injured. He's not. Extra Conine. All right, let's see what move we can make to replace Shane Bieber for the next 2 months. Your 2026 Cy Young winner, Zach Littell, is going to be my guy. The Angels aren't second to last. He's on an expiring deal. The problem is he's $6.5 million, but it was really the only deal I could get. So I'm going to have to give up a prospect. I'm going to have to give up Romano and Sandlin. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but we're going to have to kind of shed cash in this too. So they're going to get a pitching prospect and some relievers that have some long-term things. And we're going to get Littell for a couple months. Another home run of a draft. Caballero is a 91 potential. Looks like a power bat first baseman. Larry Diamond, 92 potential. You've got that with Clemente Garcia, who looks 96 potential. He was injured, so it was a risk, and he ended up being a pretty good pick. John Ott, good, but he's, far away. And Manny Marquez was just kind of a random swing and ended up also being very good. And the only guy that wasn't was this Dexter Conine, and he's a reliever, so who cares? And Villegas was also 82 potential. So, yeah, we've been drafting very, very well. I did want to see Luis Mendez, by the way. This was the only Australian we've seen so far. So, the only Australian we have seen so far is this guy. Come on, MLBtheshow, give me something to work with. We failed to hit the 100 win mark this season despite our absolutely scorching hot start. We had a really rough middle of the season. It's why I made the trades that I did in the middle of the season, because it was frustrating to see our offense just sputter to an absolute stop behind the amazing pitching staff that we had. And that's rough to see, because it's like, okay, so we just won a World Series, and I think I should go back and look at it. So, we had our win streak here, and then after that, it's just like, okay, we still had our division, but June was a lot of losing. And we're still a 99 win team. We're still a top team, but we don't get the division win because the Twins are better. The Twins are a better team than us. And the hope is that, we played them back-to-back years in the first round, that they won't end up getting us. If we advance, we'll play them, but that they don't get their revenge on us is kind of what I'm trying to say. So let's take a look. First award winners, we have a AL Rookie of the Year for Travis Bazzana, and oh my God, Yordan Alvarez. 62 home runs, 210 hits. Wow. Okay. That's a crazy good season from Jordan. 9 WAR season from Jordan. I think he's a DH, so that's the only reason the WAR isn't as high. 3 straight MVPs for the Atlanta Braves. I know it's different players, but 3 straight MVPs. Jose was third, though. Good on Jose for being third. We shifted him to kind of a DH role this season because I wanted to play Bazzana more, and I think it ended up working out. Now, whether he's a long-term DH role, that's a question I still need to figure out because we have, we have an interesting lineup of players. How I'm going to make this all work, especially now that we're kind of on the top of the money. I think Eflin's going to have to go this offseason because he's just too expensive. But we're going to have to try to figure out how we're going to make this team work because we're kind of out of cash too. The Cy Young goes to Logan Gilbert with the 2 Texas Rangers purchases and Skubal and Cease as the runner-up. Strider wins the Cy Young over here on the NL side. Soto wins the batting title, and Acuna on this side. Reliever of the year goes to Yimi Garcia and Colin Holderman. Rookie of the year, though, was Travis Bazzana and Yanquiel Fernandez. So I like to see that from Bazzana. League leaders, Soto batting average, Acuna. A couple guys got over 200 hits this year with Soto, Witt, and Alvarez and Acuna. So interesting season this year from across the board from everybody. Pitching rotation. Let's go take a look. First, let's see who they sent down. You know they'd sent down Curry. Okay, he's regressed back to a state that I think you would consider him to normally be at. We might have gotten lucky the last couple years with his production. What has his FIP been at? Okay, so he just had a bad FIP year. I mean, fielding independent pitching is not good. That's a bad season for him. Keep him around another year. He's been so consistent. You just kind of got to give him another shot. I had Heron up. Oh, wow. 1 run for Heron while he was up this season. All right. Littell wasn't that bad in his spot starts for us, and to replace Bieber, he was serviceable, and ended up being in the bullpen by the end of the year. The rest of the bullpen was, I mean, fantastic for everybody, including Clase with 40 saves again. Just our bullpen has just dominated for the last couple of years. Shane Bieber, only 161 innings because of the injury, but 3.13 ERA. Gavin Williams did eventually regress back to 3.46 ERA. BB with a 3.28. Eflin with a 3.71. Yeah, we are going to trade him in the offseason. Very good, very good season. We are going to try to capitalize on that value now and get some of our cash back because we need some money. And I'm hoping, these guys aren't that close. Reyes does not have a skill set that I like very much. So yeah, none of our pitching prospects are that close. So we're gonna have to see what we can do in order to try to fix our money situation and resolve the Eflin problem. Lineups, who they send down. I brought DeLauder up. He didn't play much. And that it? Yeah. At the major league level, Langoliers did get hurt at the end of the season. 231, 301 on base was nothing special. So, we might have overreacted in the Langoliers deal. Literally when I made that trade, I think Ruiz was hitting 170 and Bart was hitting 180. So, it was rough. Manzardo has not been good for us at all. It's not a lot. It's a very small sample size, but I mean, he's got to produce better. His ratings say that he should be producing better than he is. So that's been a little disappointing. Freeman was good. That's platoon lefty. Love to see that. Valera was awful. He would probably be a guy I'm going to trade. He might be a way I can get some assets back in return. Because the thing is, the reason why we need to talk about money is Perdomo hit 305 this year. He's an expiring deal. I don't think I can bring him back. I don't think I have the money to bring him back for what he's going to ask for. I would love to bring him back. I just don't think I can. In addition, like Garrett had underperformed in the first half, but like Jose's got one more year left. I'd like him to be DH, but then who is playing third? Who is playing short? We traded Rocio because he wasn't that good. We need to make some decisions here because our AAA guys like Khalil Watson could be somebody who could come up. We could talk about bringing up and just having, Delgado come up. I don't know. I don't like what I've seen from a lot of our young guys. The only ones that have impressed now are MacArthur and Bazzana, which are the two guys we wanted to impress. So I'm happy with that. Quan 288, as he had 160 hits this season. We had a lot of outfielders, so he played less games. Menace at 301, you'd like to see that. This will be another long-term guy for us. Jose, we will bring back whenever his contract expires, or maybe I'll give him an extension this offseason and make that work. Naylor continues to regress ratings-wise, so he hit his peak here in 2025. I'm hoping we can get a spike of a good season back from him, because Manzardo has not impressed, so it's not like Manzardo is going to be a guy I can just go and put in that spot and be happy. Stone Garrett didn't have a very good year for us this year. He's got 1 year left on his deal. So, team is in flux. Though we are a 99 win team, I feel like I'm being a Debbie Downer a little bit with this roster, and a lot of that is because I feel like they should be better. We've got better ratings. We have a lot of interesting young prospects. Our pitching staff is phenomenal, and it sucks that the lineup is not backing it up to the level it needs to. Now, this could be all wrong. We could go out and beat Seattle here and beat Minnesota and go to another World Series. But I guess we'll see that. Let me go fix the rotation and the lineup, and let's go see if we can repeat. And so, starting our World Series, or not World Series run, but wild card round against Seattle. We got Bieber, Williams, and BB versus the absolute, stacked rotation of Seattle. So let's see what we can do. Game 1, Bieber versus oh my god, I'm already blanking. Plays on the bench. We win that one in the end there. Looks like we scored that in the 9th. Sweet. Game 2, Williams versus Kirby. 0-6 loss. Is that I mean, we didn't have any offense, so I can't really complain too much about the bullpen. BB versus Bryce Miller in Game 3 is a 2-1 victory. We are going to go take on the Twins. I'm just going to go regular rotation. They have the same lineup and everything as they did last year. So Eflin versus Gallen in Game 1, 3-2 victory. Game 2, Logan Allen versus Pablo Lopez. It's a 3-4 loss given up by the bullpen in the 7th. Bieber versus Simeon Woods Richardson in Game 3. It's a 6-2 victory. Gavin Williams versus Zach Gallen in Game 4. It's a 6-8 loss. As once again, that's not really a bullpen loss. Not gonna give him credit. We lost that in the 11th. All right, BB versus Pablo Lopez. Can Minnesota get the revenge, or are we gonna keep them in the ground? They get their revenge. Minnesota takes us out in 5. If we sim the rest of the postseason, the Braves defeat the Twins in the World Series, as the Twins did get there, knocking out Boston. So Boston has not been able to get there, and the Braves win that. So let's take a look at the awards. Eddie Villanueva gets the World Series MVP. Tyler Stevenson gets postseason MVP on their side, and Austin Riley on this side. So no repeat for us in 2027, though. We lost to Minnesota. And we got some changes we got to make, I think. I like what the production we've gotten from our young guys, from the 2 young guys that I think are the future of this team. And I think our older guys are still good, but we need to clear up some cash. I don't have enough money to continue to keep this roster together. So we will figure out how we're going to do that and go into this next season. So our blockbuster deal that we're going to make in order to save some cash is going to be with the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're going to give them Zach Eflin, Hebert Ruiz and George Valera. And in return, we're going to get 2 prospects that I think are right on the edge of being there in Connor Griffin and Anthony Solometo. Solometo will allow us to be able to put him at the back end of our rotation, and Curry can be in that bullpen spot still for next season. It'll allow the other guys to develop a little bit more, and then Griffin can be the other shortstop in waiting if I do not get Perdomo back. I hope I can get Perdomo back, but I doubt that I will. We're still going to look in free agency to see if there's any other guys that I can get, but this is going to have to be the deal we're going to make in order to try and possibly do this. And like I said, we're just going to try to capitalize on some of the value for some of these players that we can, because Eflin just put together a really good year, and I'm hoping that, for them as a contending team, that they'll be able to do something with it. And so 2028, we spent the offseason retooling the team in order to try to save some money. We are still in a deficit, but that's going to hopefully change going into this offseason when Jose Ramirez's contract's up. Now, I'm still going to be pretty tight on this budget. We are we spent a lot of money to go win that World Series, and I want to stay competitive, but I also know that this team is too expensive for the Guardians ownership that we have. So we need to kind of figure out how we're going to do our best to keep this team together. But also, I'm still making moves that I think are cost money because I believe that they are going to help our team. So this offseason, we did not tank out as much as I expected. I still spent some cash. One of the players I did that on was Sandy Alcantara, who was not actually that expensive, $6 million per year. I figured that's an absolute steal for a guy who just strikes everybody out. Now, whether or not he's going to continue to produce at this 3 to 4 ERA pace, I don't know. But I hope that he can. He has exactly the stats I like to see. He is a fantastic pitcher, and I hope that we can continue to get great production from him and as our Eflin replacement. Solometo will be in the bullpen in the spot of where Espino was last year. If Alcantara is not good, we will sell Alcantara off. Logan Allen is near the end of his deal. BB is a guy who maybe I'll sell him off. Somebody is going to be moved at some point. I hope it's not Bieber. We have Williams long term, and I like the money that we're paying for Gavin Williams. So if we have to do that, we will. Henches might be another guy because of the $6 million. That's a little expensive now that I think about it and go back and assess his production. I don't know if $6 million makes a lot of sense. We'll figure that out. Clase's contract is at the end, and I'm going to wait until around the trade deadline to decide whether or not I'm going to give him an extension. My hope is that by then I will have a better idea of what Jose is going to cost me. And when I know what Jose is going to cost me, that will help me better approach Jose. Or maybe it's an off-season move where we will offer Jose the contract in the off-season and make trades in order to try to make that work. And then give Clase the extension now. Clase is 30. But like I said, our goal was to try to get him to the 600 save club. I don't know if he's going to get there because of only getting 30 saves in 2024. Hopefully we can get better production. We've got a couple more years of Estrada, a couple more years of Kekkerin, a couple more years of Morgan, and then we still have a bunch of AAA relievers that I like a lot. I also think I could package Emil Reyes with somebody. I don't like his stats, so I don't think that he's a player that is going to really pitch for me. So I would be willing to trade him in order to try to package him with something else to get something, before he goes up to the majors and tanks his value. I might want to move off of him. When it comes to the lineup, we made a few moves. First off, Cozart is going to be the one up because he is on the 40-man. I technically have one more year with Velasquez before he has to go to the 40-man. So defensive catcher here with Langoliers being the other. Velasquez will get a shot up at AAA in order to try and show me that he can produce up here at AAA. And with that, then maybe he takes the spot and we move off of Langoliers because I don't think I'm going to pay Langoliers his money. yes, I know we have not done the best job at maximizing value of assets. The one deal we made was Bo Bichette. So I wanted to make a move for Geraldo Perdomo, but he accepted a 5-year, or maybe it was 4-year, I think it was 4-year, $86 million deal from the Rockies. Too big for my bank account. And Bo Bichette only cost me $9 million a year. I don't think that that's bad value. We've seen very good production from him in the past, in his 30s. And if we can get that, if we can get a guy who just gets on base a lot and gets a lot of hits, that's what I want to see out of my shortstop. Bazzana can play third. You can have Bo at short, Jimenez at second, Naylor or Manzardo at first, and Jose can stay at the DH spot. That also opens up the outfield to be Kwan, MacArthur, and then that other spot is going to be a decision between Garrett, Freeman, and DeLauder. If DeLauder ends up producing, he will be in that spot. Garrett is going to be gone at the end of this season. Freeman is the other, obviously, player there. And I'm hoping that some of our other guys that we have drafted can get their way up there soon, including, I believe, like Chen and... I know I haven't drafted a lot of outfielders. And then Churio, too. Churio could be a player who comes up, too, and has got a lot of value up in the outfield. So, Bichette is the new addition to this team. Hopefully we have a lot more offense this year. And, this one platoon spot of Garrett, DeLauder, and Freeman will be the interesting one. And if we stay healthy, I got some confidence in this roster. So budget-wise, I want to show that now, because now I showed you the team. So Ramirez's contract's up this year. Once that's up, I'm hoping I can get him on a cheaper deal. Kwan's is getting more expensive. So this is where then you say, okay, and Bazzana's is getting more expensive too because I backloaded it. And MacArthur's I backloaded. Hench's might have to go because he's too expensive. You might have to talk about BB being gone. And we're going to have to try to maximize the value of some of the pitching prospects to keep this team competitive while we still have some of these older guys like Jimenez, Kwan, Naylor, and Ramirez. Naylor might also be an odd man out. While I don't want to move off of him, if he doesn't produce at a high level, I don't think I should be spending $18 million on a first baseman. And so we might move off of him. And we've got first baseman coming. And maybe Manzardo's just the first baseman for now. And, that's fine if he can produce. If Manzardo starts to produce, Naylor's out. And I'll figure out what I can do with it. Maybe I'll combine Naylor and Reyes or whatever and see if we can get a better pitching prospect that is cheap that I can do something with. So we will see you at the draft. Hopefully we can find an Australian player. Probably not. But we're navigating the money. That's really what we're doing. We're navigating how much money we have to work with and hoping that we're not going to get screwed over while we continue to try to win another World Series here. Shooting for another 100-win season. We'll see what we can do. Starting the MLB draft and looking at players that we can add to this team this upcoming year. Once again, we are limited as there is not a single Australian player that is available. There are some interesting pieces, interesting pitching prospects, interesting hitters. Actually, more hitters in this draft than pitchers. But nothing that I felt like is going to be a game changer. Now, it obviously depends on who falls to us. Since we didn't go out and win our division this past year, we don't have to, or not win the division, but win the World Series this past year. We don't have to worry about having pick 30. And we have some compensatory picks too, as well, or at least, the bonus picks that you get from PBI stuff. But I think that there is still a chance at pick 25 we could get somebody interesting. Looking at this, I think Michael Odom was one of my favorite guys because of the contact right, as well as the vision and discipline potential. But there's also some other interesting guys. I think the main ones I wanted were Greg Moody right here, and it was... Okay, yeah. I think it was one of these outfielders, Dietz, who is already gone. So I think what we're going to do, despite not needing a first baseman, is we're going to take Michael Odom because of the contact stats. And then I'm hoping that I can get Katimer with the next pick. I should actually check other prospects, see if there's anybody who I didn't put on my board because I didn't think we're going to be available. Few pitchers. All of them are okay. Russ Manuel's not bad. Kind of like that. And he's 18. Normally, I'm not granted an opportunity to draft an 18-year-old pitcher that has as high of a walks per 9 and hits per 9 potential. I think what we do, because Michael Odom is 100% not going to last to the next pick, is we're going to take Michael Odom. And if Russ Manuel is available, which he is, we are going to take Russ Manuel with this first pick. Not fully scouted, but I think he has a chance to be good. And then we could take Devin Katimer, who is the other top guy, who doesn't have as good of hitting stats, but just has decent all-around potential. Still a good amount of pitchers here available. But like you can see, as it gets a little bit deeper down, guys get a little bit messier. We have pick 60 and 76. I think what we're going to take Leland Robert here with 60. Because 88 to 93 potential, you just got to take that. And then we will take one of the pitchers. I don't know which one I want, though. Because none of them really have... I mean, he's got good walks per 9. Rich Bates. Shoot our shot on Rich Bates, maybe? Yeah, let's go Rich Bates. The hits per 9's awful. But, you know, walks per 9 is decent. Same to our next pick. I'm going to take Carlton Parsons. He doesn't have a high potential range, but I think if we switch him to a reliever, he could be a reliever right away. And I like the hits and walks per 9. And now there's just a couple decent players around still. I have one more position player that looks somewhat semi-interesting. I guess we should just go high potential range and take Peter Rodriguez here. And then with our last... Oh no, we have 2 more picks left. Not ranked. Not ranked. I don't like either of them, but whatever. Yeah. Anybody else I missed that looks better? Got any blue numbers? Got any blue numbers for me? No blue numbers. Okay. Dwayne Merrifield, then. Top-ranked guy on that board. Okay draft, I think, in regards to the potential pitching there. I think what we're going to do for future drafts, as we are now getting into a stage where we're going to have a lot of guys, is I probably won't show you anything unless we can find ourselves an interesting Australian player, or if we find some gems. Otherwise, I have no real intention to, like, drag this out for the next 15 seasons showing you draft picks. Whoops, I accidentally just clicked the button and I forgot to hit the button on the recording for this. We just traded away Orion Keckering, save a little bit of cash, and we got some prospects in return from the Braves that we just were able to make. So Keckering is out. That should save us a little bit of cash. He was not doing very, very well for us this season. And before I press the button, we're going to do our salary dump on Henches right now. It's not that he's having a bad season. He's actually having a very good season, 3.38 ERA as our lefty reliever. But with the $6 million per year, I was looking at the contract extensions, trying to figure out how to make these work to keep Jose and to keep Clase. And I need to get this cash off the books right now. So one of those prospects that I got in return in that quick Keckering deal from the Braves, we are going to do that. Add a Henches in it to do this a little bit of the cash dump and move it for Liberatore so we can get a lefty bullpen arm from the Cardinals. So a little bit of an overpay, but it's also a little bit of a salary dump for us. And so we were able, with doing that little bit of a cash dump, able to make some salary, a little adjustments, some contract extensions. What we're doing first is this Jose Ramirez one. It is 3 years. It is $40 million. It is backloaded, but we put a club option on it. So what is going to happen is that last year I'm going to opt out on. So this is just getting him extra money to guarantee him to take this in order to get that 3rd year. And what it'll end up doing is we will be able to back out of that last season and probably bring him back for next to nothing by the time he's 38 or 39. The other deals that we just made for extensions is I extended Tyler Freeman quick. He got 5 years, 7. It's an overpay, but I feel like you got to bring back the guy who basically won you your World Series. It's playing the loyalty game. It is not necessarily the safest or most efficient way to play the game. but I want to keep him here. I don't want to see him play for another team. He's going to play for us forever. So Tyler Freeman will stay in a Guardians jersey for his whole career. The last deal that we were able to make is going to be Emmanuel Clase, who I feel like this is an overpay for a closer, but you kind of have to, I think, with the production that he's given us. And knowing how bad I am with closers, you just got to keep him around. And so we're going to keep him around for a lot of money, but it was basically the best I could do, I think, with Clase. So we did extend everybody that we could. We are not going to extend Garrett. We are not going to extend Langoliers. Those guys will probably be gone. And we need to ask ourselves the questions about like Naylor in this offseason. And so taking a look at these draft picks, once again, I think we did a really good job in this draft with the one weaker like pick here being a guy that we talked about moving to as a reliever. Michael Odom, kind of a righty specialist at first, but I'll take it. It doesn't really matter to me even if he's a bench bat or a platoon guy. 86 potential is pretty nice to see. Manuel has 85 potential, but he's got decent stats that I like. The walks per nine and the hits per nine. The home runs per nine is kind of concerning, but I think if, maybe that ends up being, I don't know if you want to make that into a reliever, but maybe he has to be. 92 stamina is good though. Katimer looks more like well, I guess not really. He did in the thing, but he kind of looks more all around than I thought he was going to be based on what we got. Maybe, Robert was So these two shortstops are both interesting because they're both 63 overall. They've got different stat lines, but could be interesting players either way. Good walks per nine. That's awful hits per nine. I don't know what it'll take for him to ever be up at the major league level. Parsons could honestly be a major leaguer right now, though I feel like that I need to move him to a relief role just so that he actually improves. Peter Rodriguez has the most potential out of everybody, I think, in this actual group, besides maybe Katimer. So, good draft for us. I do want to see if there was any super interesting players that we missed on. No, not really. At least nothing that I feel like I had my eyes on. That shortstop was very good. No. So, good draft for us. Once again, just kind of knocking it out of the park as we usually do. We draft pretty well. Dietz was good, so Dietz was a good player. This was probably the player I was the most interested in. Oh, wow, they did very well. But yeah, we knocked it out of the park again with the draft, so we will see what we have to offer going into the rest of this season and hopefully making another playoff run. 97-65, we have taken the division back and we are taking on the winner of the wild card playoff game. And got the 1 seed over here in the AL, and I see the A's are now up to the 2 seed, which is kind of scary because that team has been putting together something of a roster in the past several seasons. Stephen Kwan with the batting title. That's about it, as Yordan Alvarez wins back-to-back MVPs here in Houston, just kind of becoming something kind of crazy over there. Finally, the run of Atlanta Braves MVPs is gone as Cody Bellinger wins an MVP for the Brewers. Flaherty, Cy Young for the A's. Bieber gets third. I'll take that. Jared Jones over here ending the Strider run. How many? Strider just had 2. I thought he had more. So Strider doesn't win that one. So that's big. But Kwan gets that. I did see Jackenzie Noel, who we traded away to Tampa. I don't remember what that trade was for. Got a Rookie of the Year this year at first base, which is kind of cool for him. So interesting enough. That's nice to see some success there, as we are the 1 seed. League leaders is just Bieber and I bet Kwan for batting average. Vladdy had 200 hits. Luis Arraez had 200 hits. He's in the Phillies. I didn't this year. Okay. Like, when did he go to the Phillies? Otherwise, the main thing that we need to look at is how our team did. Shane Bieber put together an amazing season. There's a reason I extended him. Normally, I feel like I see Bieber perform well into his 30s in this game, and so I didn't want to be the team to let him go this time. But I I think despite our money crunch right now, I think we're getting the value back from him. Gavin Williams 391, Tanner Beebe with a 4.3, Logan Allen with a 3.5, and Sandy Alcantara was not necessarily the best pickup for us with a 4.5 this last season. Solometo 3.28, Libertor. So it looks like some of these guys were pretty good for us. Clase ended with 51 saves. Who'd they send down? Probably the same guy they always do, Curry, who was back to a 3.83. So Curry will continue to keep his bench role as a reliever for us. They sent anybody else down? Avila? I think I had Avila up. Not enough to really see anything from him. So interesting lineup. Obviously Alcantara is cheap. That's why we kept him around. But I might dump him off too if we need some extra cash and let Solometo be a starter. We have to figure out how we want to fix this rotation up this next season, because Emil Reyes was actually very, very good in the minors this year. Even though I don't like his stats, I don't think it's going to translate. So I don't know. Do we go to him yet? Do I put him in the bullpen next season? That's a big question. So we're looking year to year at that kind of thing. Anybody gets sent down? I think Khalil Watson was up a decent amount of the year. Not really anything special there. Otherwise, no. So, actual lineup. 255 from the hero of the Guardians, Tyler Freeman. 249 as Manzardo finally puts together a semi-decent year for himself this year, and this is why I have the question on Naylor, who was still good, but like money-wise, I don't necessarily know if there's that much of a value difference. I probably shouldn't have signed Naylor to this long-term of a deal. I just figured he'd be able to play till he's 33, but he has been regressing pretty quickly. Coatsart 286. This is your starting catcher next year. DeLauder is just kind of a disappointment, I think. So far, he has not been good in the minors. He's not been good up in the majors, and so I'm concerned about his ability to perform when we actually put him in the outfield. If I do have to put him in the outfield next year, we will see what's available in free agency. Quan with another batting title, as he continues to just be super consistent for us. Had one down year there last season, but besides that, super consistent for us. Jose in the DH, made sure we paid him. I probably overpaid him. Probably could have got more money out of him if I would have just waited until the off season. But I didn't want to give the chance of him leaving, and so we're just going to go for it. Naylor, 292, 291 from Jeff MacArthur, 294 from Stone Garrett. Bobichette, a little disappointing, 248. I mean, it's exactly what he did last season, so I can't be that surprised by it. But I would like to see a little bit more contact from him. Jimenez missed a good portion of the year due to injuries, so didn't put as good of a year as he has the last couple of years. I'm hoping that he can return to that. Otherwise, there could also be a salary dump in Andres Jimenez. I don't want to make that the dump. And Langoliers is pretty good in what is going to be his last year for us, unless I can find a really lucky deal for him to bring him back. But I think we're going to probably bring up Velasquez next year and have Velasquez and Cosart as our main two catchers next season. So I don't think I have to change anything besides Curry. So let's just do that. Let's just do that right away, right in front of your eyes. Add to the playoff roster. And let's take Spencer Howard out of the playoff roster. Change our pitching rotation so that Curry is there. I'm happy with that as our rotation. I'm actually going to move Eli Morgan up there. We have our lefties, our righties. Let's do it. Lineup wise, didn't have to change anything, right? No. The only thing I might consider is against lefties just going... He's not actually better, though. He's not actually better, so maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, no. We'll just do it. Let's do this. All right, let's see who we play. Straight at... I don't care. To the Texas Rangers, Bieber, Williams, BB. Game 1 is a win. Game 2 is a loss. Game 3 is a win. Game 4 is a loss. Game 5, Alcantara versus Fried, is a loss. We lose to the Rangers. And the Astros go on to defeat the Dodgers in the World Series. So your World Series MVP was Jeremy Pena. Your postseason MVP goes to Yainer Diaz and Shohei Ohtani. It has now been 2 years since we have last made it. So the question is, do we want to sell off anything and just kind of like be the actual Guardians team and sell some players to try to regroup around Bazzana, or do we want to still continue to try to compete with Jose Ramirez? That is going to be the decisions we are going to make depending on what is available in this upcoming offseason. The first trade we're going to make is we are going to move off of Alcantara, and we're also going to throw in Spencer Howard just for a little bit of a cash dump. We're going to get Ben Joyce in return, who has not really played much in his career for the Angels, but has put together 2 solid seasons in a row here. And I am going to do what I can to kind of take advantage of the fact that I like his stats. And I'm hoping he can perform. And he's got 4 years of team control left, so with that, I feel like you just got to take advantage of the fact that he might be cheap. So 2 relievers for 1 for the Rangers, in which we are going to consolidate a little bit and get a guy with some team control. I'm going to get rid of Avila and Gaddis for Keith Thompson. He's mainly going to be a minor league pitcher, honestly. And so starting the 2029 season, we are going into this year with another chance where we are going to be attempting to compete. We are not selling off. We did make a few moves, but nothing real crazy. Solometo is going to take this last starting spot for Sandy Alcantara because of that trade. He also will likely be replacing Logan Allen, who I have no intention of bringing back, despite his fantastic performance for the last several seasons. I think he's going to be too expensive. BB might be a guy who we might have to move off of here as well. But Curry's back. Carmen McGinsky, I got off of the waiver wire, who I picked up, added him to the bullpen, and Ben Joyce adds the bullpen. Cade Smith and Estrada are going to be out at the end of the year. We will decide whether or not we can afford to pay them, but there's a good chance we will not be able to. So, that just opens up room for a lot of the guys that we have coming, which are going to need to come up and take these spots soon. Lineup wise, we only made 1 move. We basically had a $4 million deal out for Stone Garrett, and I tossed another one towards Eloy Jimenez, who hits even better, and we got him for that. Same, it was 4 years, $16 million, with a club option on the last year and a backloaded contract, so the most expensive year is going to be opted out of, but I thought Eloy might be a good fit, and we can just trade him if he's not, or if DeLauder ends up performing, we can just trade him as well. So whatever we end up needing to do, we will do to make that space if DeLauder ends up actually finally looking like a real player. I would send him down to the minors to continue to get a little bit more at bats, but he cannot be down in the minors. So other addition was Ralphie Velasquez will now be this season's catcher. And that means that, and Cozart as our more defensive-minded version of the catcher. So we've got both, and we can just kind of swap back and forth between the 2 of them. Otherwise, yeah, this is our team. MacArthur and Bazzana, as our younger guys, are still the core focuses of said team. Now, I'm hoping that I can end up being Bazzana as the best player. I need him to progress a little bit faster than what I'm seeing out of Jeff MacArthur. He's still developing kind of slow. He's already 26, but he won a Rookie of the Year and won a World Series. I'm hoping that he can be a $10 million player this upcoming year. So let's make a run. I will likely not show the draft unless I find an Australian player. So I will see you maybe at the deadline, maybe at the end of the season. Oh, Stephen Kwan, torn Achilles, out for 6 months. That's huge because I want to say Kwan has been, just absolutely killing it this year. He was hitting 356 this season. So, yeah. 1. OPS. This is a big loss. Big loss to lose Stephen Kwan. We're obviously leading our division because we had a guy like that, but I hope we can get some production from somebody else in order to try to make up for that. I don't know if we're going to. 98 and 64, that's another division title here for us. We will be going on to take on the winner of the wild card playoff game. Taking a look at award winners this season, Ralphie Velasquez wins Rookie of the Year. Corey Seager gets the MVP, finally knocking out that run there by Jordan, and Shohei gets the MVP over on the NL side. Grayson Rodriguez Cy Young with Bieber getting runner-up, and Corbin Burns with the Cy Young over here on the NL side. Bo Bichette ended up third in the batting title. Sadly, no Kwan after the... That would have been a really nice 1-2 punch, to be honest. Bo Bichette and Stephen Kwan at the top would have been really nice to have. But it is what it is. Sometimes you get some injuries like that. It hurts, but we'll move. We're going to have to deal with it. Yeah, so taking a look at league leaders, Shane Bieber, shutouts, complete games, pit, whip, war. Yeah, Bieber was phenomenal this year for us. Bichette was really, really good for us this year. So you like to see a lot of that production. And Ralphie Velasquez, 35 home runs out of the catcher position. Why we waited so long on Velasquez, I don't know. But yeah, he is our catcher. And we've got team control. He'll be cheap. Yeah, I love it. He's a terrible defensive catcher, but that's why you got Jacob Kozar as the other catcher. So we have some interesting catchers, meaning that I think we could probably move off of some of those guys, those A-plus prospects we drafted at the catcher position in the, in that first season. So yeah, I think we're in a good spot. I think regarding this team, let's check our lineups, because I think they sent down Curry again, who is regressing, 4.72. Yeah, I think he's about done. Liberatore got sent down at a 4.37. He wasn't that good as our lefty, but I'm gonna have to bring him back because he's like our only lefty that we have. So up at the major league level, McGinsky 4.15. Estrada 2.29 was good. Morgan with a 1.8, only 10 innings though. Joyce was pretty good in his 32 innings. Cade Smith decent. And Clase, I mean, that's too expensive, but I'll take this level of consistency at least. Bieber, another Cy Young caliber season. Gavin Williams with 3.9, 4.29 for BB, 4.04 for Allen, and 3.2 for Solometo. So I think what that means is that this upcoming season, Allen's going to be gone. I'm going to have to cut off of the money from BB, so we're going to have to send him out, meaning we'll have Bieber, Williams, and Solometo as our main guys of our rotation. The rest of it, I'll look at free agents and our prospects that are on their way up, because somebody's going to need to take those last two spots. Comes to the lineup. Probably check AAA first here. They didn't send anybody down, meaning that's pretty good for us. 2.77 for Freeman. They moved Jose to the bench for a little while here with a 2.44. Not very good for him. Cozart, great bench catcher. DeLauder with the 2.24. I don't like it. It's a little bit better, but I don't like it. MacArthur with a bad season at 2.41. Bichette was great. Bazzana 2.53. The average keeps going down. I don't like that. Despite his stats going up, his average continues to get worse. His OPS continues to get worse. Defensively, he's kind of mediocre. Maybe we'll have him play second next season and Jimenez play third. Oh, wow. Yikes from Jimenez. Manzardo was good. Eloy was a fantastic pickup. Naylor was all right. He's regressing so fast. Production's still there, but ratings continue to go down. And Connor Griffin was just there as my late season September call-up. I'm going to have to fix some things for this playoff run. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in this lineup without Stephen Kwan, to be honest. And we start our first playoff series here against Toronto. We have Bieber, Williams, and BB. By the way, we are once again the number 1 seed, so we have kept that on lock for most of our playoff runs here. But this one, Bieber versus Tiedemann in Game 1 is a 2-3 loss as McGinsky gives up those runs. Gavin Williams versus Trey Savage in Game 2 is a 4-1 victory. Tanner Beebe versus Walker Buehler in Game 3 is a 17-3 victory. We score 17 runs off of 6 home runs from our team this game. Lot of power there. Please make sure that that's not all of our run support. 5-2. All right, sweet. We have Baltimore. We are going to go back to the top of our rotation for this. We are going to go, it's Bieber, Williams. I'm going to go Solometo and then BB and Allen at the bottom. So Solometo has not gotten a shot yet, but we will give him Game 3. Bieber in Game 1, a 2-1 victory. That one must have been close. Scored that one in the 9th. I love it. Game 2, Gavin Williams versus Kyle Bradish. 6-2 victory. Game 3, Solometo getting his first shot versus Chase McDermott. 8-4 victory. Now let's not blow it. We're up 3-0. 1-3. 1-0. We are advancing to the World Series to play the Philadelphia Phillies. Bieber, Gavin Williams, Solometo. Let's do it. Shane Bieber versus Johnny Miller in Game 1 is an 8-4 victory. Game 2, Gavin Williams versus Mick Abel is a 5-2 victory. Solometo versus Andrew Painter in Game 3 is a 5-6 loss. That's a blown 18 innings. Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm not calling that a blown save at all. That's 18 innings. That is, that's a lot. That's a lot. Now, it sucks that it was Clase that gave it up, but yeah. All right. BB versus Pablo Lopez in Game 4. 2-4 loss. We're going to jump back to the top of rotation. I know Logan Allen's all right. Actually, no, I'm not even going to mess with it. Logan Allen has been pitching well. We are going to give him Game 5. 4-0 victory. Glad we made that decision. Let's go into this with our advanced day. Play next game with a quick manage. I don't want City Connects on. We're wearing home jerseys. The home jerseys bring us luck. Anybody playing really, really poorly? Velasquez? Really? No, we'll give it to him, though. Oh, but do we do... Yeah, this is what we're going to do. It doesn't seem smart, ratings-wise, but it seems right from my heart. Tyler Freeman is going to come into this game because he was our World Series hero last time. All right.
Play ball. Ball 4. Take your base.
They scored instantly. All right, 1-0. We're a little bit in the hole already. MacArthur with a double. Another double for Bichette. Bazzana pops up. Single for Ralphie Velasquez. A walk, bases loaded for Tyler Freeman. Come on, buddy. Fielder's choice. Manzardo strikes out.
Take your base. Ball 4. 3.
Solo home run from Josh Naylor. 2-1 lead. I almost said McDouble from Arthur. A double from MacArthur. Pop out for Bichette. Bazzana gets a single for runners in the corners for Ralphie Velasquez, who gets a triple with 24 speed. That had to be a Little League triple to get that, and a fly out. We are up 4-1.
That hit him. First base. Ball 4.
Just need this production to continue. Double, single, 6-1 lead. Fielder's choice for Bichette. Or not from Bichette. From MacArthur. Single, line out, ground out. All right, we only gave up 1 run there. I might have to switch out Bieber.
27, Aaron Nola.
Do we give him the lefties? Liberatore has not been that consistent this year. Do we risk it in the 5th and go to our bullpen? You know what? We're going to risk it and go for it. Burleson. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay. 2-run lead in the 5th. Error gets Manzardo to second. Strikeout, fly out, ground out. Strikeout, double, ground out, strikeout. That is going to be the end for Bieber. I need to, hesitate on keeping him. Double for Bazzana. He is 3 for 4 this game. We are up 7-4. Fly out, and a double for Ramirez. And another double from Manzardo. And a single from Jimenez. We are up 6 runs. We are now going to go play it safe. We are going to go to Liberatore for the lefties.
Number 52.
And we get out of that.
That hit him.
Hit by pitch. Bases loaded for Jose Ramirez. Fielder's choice. Tyler Freeman grounds out. We will go to Jeremiah Estrada.
For the Guardians. Number 56.
Who will get us out of that? Manzardo. Jimenez. Naylor. Man on third for MacArthur. He pops out. Pitching change. It's Clase time. Strikeout. Strikeout. Let's enter the game and watch another chance for another World Series. It's all up to Emmanuel Clase. In the rain.
Shabby and Chris Singleton as we've got
We're up 10-4. This is a kind of a sure thing, but I just want to see it happen.
And first offering is
Look at those cowls. Look at these Cleveland fans go insane for a second World Series.
He still might beat you. Not an easy out by any means.
Ooh, lined right above Jimenez's head. I mean, this is Luis Arias. You kind of expect that type of thing. So that's okay. We've got such a good, big cushion. No need to worry.
As soon as that one shot off his barrel,
Bryce Harper.
he was thinking extra bases. Really nice job of getting the bat out front, but not hooking around it or rolling over it. Just
Still got it. 100 mile an hour, by the way.
that thing into the
From
gap.
From our old man, Emmanuel Clase at this point. He's 31. With the pitch. Fouled off. That's 0-2 count here against Bryce Harper in Game 6 of the World Series.
One strike away. And that's it. They are World Series champions.
And that's a strikeout. That is 2 World Series for the Guardians in the Travis Bazzana era. Just what we needed to see. We considered selling. We considered moving on. We stuck with it. Jose Ramirez, still a core member of this team. Everybody that we wanted, we kept around. Even with Steven Kwan on the IL due to a torn Achilles, we win our second World Series of the 2030s with the Cleveland Guardians. It really doesn't get much better than that. Amazing game from MacArthur, amazing game from Bazzana, Jimenez, Naylor with a home run. I mean, that'll do it for you. 2 World Series, just like that. Your World Series MVP is Travis Bazzana. Let's go. The hero. Jose Ramirez with the playoff MVP. You couldn't script it better. Actually, you could. He could have hit a home run, but he didn't hit a single one the whole postseason. So, yeah, we've got 2 World Series. That was one of our goals. Honestly, at this point, I think what we're going to do now is, because we've got the 2 World Series, it's more about what does Bazzana do for the rest of his career. What does he rack up stats-wise? What does he rack up awards-wise? And can this team stay consistently on top? It's 2029. He's only played 3 seasons, and he has got 2 World Series under his belt. And a World Series MVP at that. Rookie of the Year, World Series MVP. We have him under contract for 8 more years. So, yeah, I think what we're going to do then is instead of going year to year like we have been, I'll probably just show you the end of each season and just what the stats are. We're going to kind of speed a little bit up through the rest of this rebuild because I honestly didn't expect to win a World Series here in 2029. The lineup was not as good as it had been the last years. Now, there's a chance we could repeat if, we'll show you playoff runs. But there was a chance that we could repeat, but I didn't think that was going to happen when we didn't have Steven Kwan as a core member of that lineup. Now, obviously, the pitching staff is no longer as good as it was the first run, and it's not going to be as good for the next upcoming seasons, especially as we get rid of BB and Allen. One of the reasons is we are. It doesn't say we're over budget, but we are over budget. It's just not over because of the whole Steven Kwan not currently being on the MLB roster. But it's gonna be a tight fit next season. And we're gonna figure out how we're gonna do it. We're pretty much replacing and redoing our entire pitching staff this upcoming season. And we've got 1 more year left of Bieber, and we'll see what we can do with that. I will probably see you at the end of next season, or if we make any significant changes to the roster that I feel like are valuable or interesting to show. So for the rest of this rebuild, if you're watching this, you'll know pretty much for the future, everything will be a little bit faster as we move into more of the career sim chapter 2 of this rebuild to see what Travis Bazzana can do for the rest of his MLB career. Okay, I lied. I wanted to show this because this is kind of an insane trade and it saves us some cash. And I know Sasaki only has 1 year, but Jose doesn't have a lot of time left on the clock where I think that he's actually a serviceable player. So we stay going all in. We stay going all in. Emil Reyes is also a pitcher I don't really think is ever going to be very good with the hits per 9 and walks per 9 being the way that they are. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. but Sasaki is good. But there's going to be more players in this deal. We're also going to give him Tanner Beebe because I need to save that cash off of him. Just to see if we can defend our World Series. We, once again, win the division. I don't believe this season we are the number 1 seed. No, in fact, we're the 3 seed this year. So funny, we made that big buy for Roki Sasaki. It ended up not necessarily mattering. But we do get a Cy Young from Shane Bieber. Yordan Alvarez takes the MVP back. This year, Colton Cowser now the MVP with the Brewers. Shane Bieber, Cy Young. That is his second. It took 10 years in between them. But he was like runner-up so many times in this time period. Just absolutely dominant. This is the last year of his deal. Now, what my intention was to wait till the offseason to give him an offer, simply because then we can get the qualifying deal rather than give him the extension. I looked at the extension. He was asking for $25 million per. I was not going to give him $25 million per year at the age of 34. I don't think he's going to cost that much. Gavin Williams was third. And yeah, Mackenzie Gore wins the Cy Young on the other side. Otherwise, I don't really think that the team was necessarily like great. Gavin Williams and Shane Bieber were good. Batting average, you can see we don't have, these guys aren't over 300 like they were last season. Hits wise, Bo Bichette was at least at 194. Home runs, so that Velasquez year was kind of fluky. But I think the interesting thing is like, so this like the pitching staff here at the top, Bieber, Sasaki, and Williams were very, very good. These 3 aces give us our shot to win another World Series. I'm hoping that it can put us in that position. Why did Cade Smith only get 6 innings all season? Eli Morgan got more. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix this. This is an absolute mess pitching wise. Liberatore though, very valuable. Doughty was a very good player for us this year. Joyce, it looks like the bullpen was really good, consistent. 39 saves from Clase. Like the back end of our pitching rotation wasn't as good. Another thing to note: Bieber is a free agent. Sasaki is a free agent. There's a lot of guys that are free agents this upcoming year. So this was kind of why I went for Sasaki, because I was like, let's just go all in case we can't bring everybody back. Can we repeat? They sent Jose down. He hit 250, 26 home runs. We're going to keep him up. He has 1 more year. Actually, I think this is the option year. So we will decline his option this upcoming season and then sign him back for even cheaper. That should save some cash. Eloy, 278. I like it. I don't know why he got sent down. Probably because they think there's some rookies that, like Naylor and Churio, who should be up. Freeman, 257. Not really great from Connor Griffin. Cozart was all right. DeLauder was at least decent this season. That's not good enough for an 86 overall, though. Quan and Bichette were good. MacArthur, I mean, I can't really say that. Yeah, no, he wasn't good enough there. 274, decent year from MacArthur. Velasquez, a little bit of a down year for him compared to what he did last season. Bazzana, 264, hit 24 home runs. Okay, so he's getting a little bit up now. And did his defense improve now that I moved him to second? Yeah, it did. Manzardo, 264, and Jimenez is another one with an expiring deal. I don't think we're going to bring Jimenez back, though. I think the question is saving money, and that's how we're going to do it. Probably Jimenez will be the one that will be gone in order to save some cash and maybe get some pitching back. All right, this team is an absolute mess. Let me fix it, and let's make another postseason run. 3 aces, back to back to back. Bieber, Sasaki, Williams. Can that be enough to get us through this first round? Bieber in game 1 gets a 5-0 victory. Game 2, Sasaki versus Caden Dana is a 3-4 loss, thanks to just 2 in the 6th and 1 in the 9th. Gavin Williams versus Patrick Sandoval in game 3 is a 7-1 victory. All right. That's going to give us Solometo, then Doughty, which I think we're going to have to do simply because of the rest time for Bieber. Solometo in game 1 is a 6-3 win. Doughty, can you do it over Jared Jones? No. They have Jared Jones and Skeens? Why? Why, Houston? Bieber in game 3, 8-1 victory. Sasaki in game 4 is a 2-4 loss. Game 5, Gavin Williams versus Paul Skeens is a 5-3 victory. I guess we're going Solometo. In Game 1 versus Logan Gilbert, a 2-3 loss. That's a bullpen game. Yep. Game 2, Dowdy versus Chachin, 3-7 loss. Can our aces get through this? I mean, can Bieber do his job? Of course. Sasaki versus Logan Gilbert. Ooh, lit up. Gavin Williams in Game 5. Yeah, that is a loss. We are not able to defend our World Series as the Red Sox defeat the Brewers in the 2030 World Series. Marcelo Mayer is the World Series MVP. Devers on this side and Bellinger on this. They have Riley Green too? What is this team? What the hell? Why have the Brewers been able to do that? Okay. Bringing back Bieber. I don't think we're going to bring back Sasaki, but we will extend him the qualifying offer to get the pick back for him, and probably not Jimenez. And this will be the reset year. Gavin Williams wins the Cy Young Award in 2031. I think that's kind of a nice little valuable thing to look at. He's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. Bieber's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. It's been a fantastic pitching staff for Cleveland over the time that he's been here. Look at Manzardo, also up in the batting title race here in Cleveland in this new extended, as we continue to go a little further. I think when I looked at this season, we did make the playoffs, by the way, 94 wins, win the division as per usual. But the thing that I was happy with was Bazzana is 5th in home runs this season. No Silver Slugger, no big awards, but played 162 games. Hit 34 home runs, 176 hits, 287 average. Finally coming into his own in his age 28 season. It's kind of what we were hoping to see from him. So now it's really up to, can we go out and win another playoff or make another playoff run? Pitching rotation wise, by the way, it's Bieber and Gavin Williams. Nobody else is really good. Bullpen wise, it's been pretty decent, but it's just these two. Nobody else has been able to really come in and supplement everything. Oh, actually, wait a second. I should show this. When I checked, Roki Sasaki won the Cy Young on the other side. He went to Washington in free agency for, a lot of money. A lot of money that I was not willing to pay him. So, $14 million this upcoming year is kind of nice. So that's probably like a backloaded deal for him. But we didn't pay him. That's the main thing. Lineup wise, Quan 298, 287 from Bazzana, 303 from MacArthur, as Bazzana is now the best player on this team. Velasquez hit 28 home runs. Manzardo 328. Jose is not, Jose is pretty old at this point. Our hope, I don't think we're going to get him to 500 home runs or 3,000 hits. We can keep holding him in that DH spot and try, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Did they send anybody down? Jaden Fielder. How do you play 80 games and have 10 at bats? I don't understand. Tyler Freeman got sent down. No, Tyler Freeman's regressing. Well, we're going to have to bring him back up. You can't make a playoff run without Tyler Freeman. Yeah. Can we win another World Series? Oh my God, is that the Chicago White Sox in the playoffs? Is that the Chicago White Sox in the playoffs? Is that the Chicago White Sox in the playoffs? Did the Chicago White Sox just beat us in the playoffs? The Red Sox go back to... Was it the Red Sox that won last year? Yeah. Yeah. The Red Sox are really good. They beat the Brewers back-to-back years, who are also really good. Yeah, we're not on their level. We're not on either of these teams' levels. Our playoff streak finally ends, though. 82-80. I think the one thing is that, I'll talk about it in a second. I want to show it because the pitching has been horrible. It's something that you have to think about when you do drafts. Like, I draft a lot in regards for potential because I think about it as what can I get for trade pieces and valuable assets. Whether or not those pitchers actually are talented enough to be, our major league pitcher that's a different question entirely. So we have drafted a lot of pitching. However, we have not drafted the right pitching. Because I'm going to show this first. Like you can see they've sent down starters that we have. Fabregas was a starter, 5.23 ERA. Phil Mott last year was at a 4.69 when he was up that season. Clemmy was here, and Clemmy's a real guy. So maybe we should just commit to Clemmy. So same thing with Doughty, because they're real. Santo 4.88. He's an 87. That was his first time pitching. Yamashita is a little bit closer to what I generally like, so maybe we just go with Yamashita. But it's just been tough. We haven't had very good pitching. Bullpen's been good, but oh my God, Clase is an 80 overall already with 12 blown saves. Got to the 500 save club though, so good on him. But oh my God, that is a regression for Clase. But yeah, we should probably look. It's just the pitching is just no longer up to par in order to be that competitive. Award winners. Hank Aaron Award for Travis Bazzana. MVP for Travis Bazzana. I knew it was there. He was leading the MVP race the majority this season, but we've got it. 45 home runs this season for Travis Bazzana. He's now a 99 overall. Finally pieces together, and I can't say finally. It didn't take him that long. 6 years in, he puts in his best season. 198 hits, 45 home runs, 319 average, over 1,000 OPS. Has a 988 fielding percentage and a 9.6 WAR. We have an MVP. We have a Silver Slugger. We have a home run champ. He led the league in home runs at 45 home runs. So all around, this was the year of Travis Bazzana. Lou Bob was second there. I mean, let's see. Maybe we should have just signed Roki Sasaki. But I'm pretty proud of it. You know, when you think about what our goals were with trying to get him in a good position, it was to get him good hits, to get him an MVP, to get him gold gloves, maybe to give him a Silver Slugger. He's gotten himself a Silver Slugger. He's gotten himself a Hank Aaron. He has himself a MVP. He has himself a home run champion. To be honest, I don't really think you can ask for much more for Bazzana. And so I think what we're going to do is, honestly, we're going to take our hands off the wheel. And we are going to let Bazzana and this team fully commit to the future. I'm going to let them let go of Jose Ramirez, who is at 484 home runs. I really want to see if we could get him to 500. But I know that we could. We have tested this. We have played with this. I can get him to play 35 seasons if I just keep him in this DH spot forever. So, yeah, I think what we're going to do is we are going to take we are going to give the CPU complete control over this team. Bazzana has team control till 2036. And we'll just kind of let them go and see what they do. They've got a very, very good farm system. They have a lot of very, very good pitching prospects to work with. They have a core at the top, which, MacArthur is potential went down after a bad year. But they've got a core at the top with Bazzana and MacArthur and Manzardo, and you have Churio here. And by the way, you have DeLauder, who is a 92 overall and hits 196. Not a good player. We're going to take our hands off the wheel. We're going to let them do whatever they want to do. If they want to move off of Bichette, if they want to move off of Jose, if they want to move off of Quan, they can go for it. And we'll just see what Bazzana does for the rest of his career. I think at this MVP, this is a great point to go off and just say, hey, what can you do for the next several seasons? I don't really care. I hope that it ends up being great, and I hope that he can win another World Series. He's already got 2 under his belt, and maybe he can get another. So, let's just sim this postseason quick. The Nationals defeat the Red Sox. That's art. We did that to them. You're welcome, guys. Also, what the Sal Frelick on that team, Colt Emerson on that team, Tristan Casas on this team. What? And also, the Red Sox have now made 3 straight World Series in the AL. So, us not being there is giving the Red Sox an opportunity to absolutely dominate. So we almost also had the Brewers make it again. So it almost was a three-peat of the same series. So yeah, we're gonna take our hands off the wheel. This team's not is not good enough right now. Bieber is regressing. I'd be curious if he'd be considered a Hall of Fame pitcher with 2 Cy Youngs to the game. Same thing goes with Gavin Williams. I think, like, personally, I look at that production over their career, knowing how pitching is, that Shane Bieber would eventually be considered an actual MVP or an actual Hall of Famer. Gavin Williams is a Hall of Famer in my mind. And I think that to Jose Ramirez, even if they don't give it to him in game, 2,700 hits, 484 home runs, Gold Glove, 10 All-Stars, 8 Silver Sluggers, playoff MVP, 2 World Series runs. I think that he would be considered a Hall of Famer, even though he never got to the 3,000 hit mark. What's his WAR at? 62? Yeah. And the only reason it's not higher is because we put him in a DH spot here in 2028 to try to to get him to last a little bit longer. We could have kept him at third base and he would have been good because he's such a good defensive player. That is that'll probably be that for him. And I hope that, I think they also Tyler Freeman got sent down too, because he's about done too. Our hero, World Series MVP in 2026. So we're gonna take our hands off the controls, let them take over, and we'll just see what else Bazzana can do for the next. Hopefully he'll play like 10 more years for him. I hope, at least for his sake, that he'll play 10 more years. We will not do. This is why I'm taking my hands off the wheel. I wanted to say this. I am taking my hands off the wheel because I don't want another Julio situation where I have completely ruined the sim at one point by the fact of him eventually just hitting 10,000 home runs because he never retires. So, Bazzana, good luck to you. We will see what he can do for the next however many years. I bet you he only has like 6 more years in him, though. We were just simming, by the way. This team is already in the World Series in 2033. Now, letting them get rid of control. They got rid of Bieber, Clase, Bichette. They got rid of everybody that was old. Went with the new team. All of a sudden, they got Chase Burns, who was a guy I specifically was trying not to get because he was an option for them. And then he, of course, gets the Cy Young this year too. So, question is, can they win the World Series? Game 1 is a loss. Game 2 is a loss. Game 3 is a win. Game 4 is a loss. Game 5 is a win. Game 6 is a win. Let's do it. Game 7. Quick manage. This is a different team. It still has all the guys that I drafted. But we will go Luis Rosario. Right? Yes. Oda, MacArthur, Bazzana, DeLauder, Manzardo. All right. Game 7 of the World Series against the New York Giants. The Red Sox and the Brewers. That's my Churio, right? Yeah. Okay. Solo home run for Jason Churio. The Red Sox and Brewers run is over. Also, because all of the guys on the Red Sox went to the Reds, which is why Chase Burns was available for the Guardians to sign. Run scores. We are up 2-0. Bazzana with a single. DeLauder with a fielder's choice. Still nothing there, but Rosario's only given up 2 hits so far. So, 3 hits now. Need to not talk. No talking. Zardo, Velasquez, Churio. Do we go with... Let's just keep him in. And I shouldn't have kept him in. We will make the pitch and change. We will go to... Flyer.
Now pitching for the Guardians. Number 9. Bobby
Gets out of that.
Fleer.
3. Take your base, ball 4.
We will make a pitching change to Chavili.
Now pitching for the Guardians.
I want to enter the game. I want to enter the game. I want to see if Bazzana can do something special here. I just want to see it. We haven't gotten to see it. Travis Bazzana in the World Series in the 8th.
Stands in now and watches strike one.
Hit me a home run, Bazzana. Hit me a home run, Bazzana. Oh my God, he left that ball floating. That was a chance right there for Bazzana to open this game up.
This rain is not letting up.
Yeah, and if we do get a delay,
He got a lot of that too. Foul ball there for Bazzana.
They won't be able to keep their arms warm forever if it's a long break and going to have to exit this game a little early.
That ball's outside. 1-2 count for Rubber Seed.
Change up right out of the hand. Just spit on it.
With a pitch.
Started to go at the 1-2.
He does not go. That is a 2-2 count.
Swing. He held up. Darryl Parker with the call there.
Fouled off. Come on, give me another floater. I want to see Bazzana knock this thing right out the park. That ball's up high. And with the pitch.
Hit in the air, right
Oh,
field.
just popped out into the outfield.
Settles underneath it.
Got a lot of it.
Makes
Not
the
enough.
grab, one away. And now the right.
Back to quick manage. All right, Chavili. Ground out. Ground out. Let's go back in there. Oh, now of course.
We are officially in a rain delay.
One pitcher back. One. If I lose this,
Well, the goal is to resume play within the hour, so
we're
that
keeping the
leaves
current
his
pitcher.
managers with a bit of a decision. Will they be
that's not normally smart, but he won reliever of the year
able
this
to
year.
keep their pitchers in the game or not?
Oh,
So we'll have to
Angel
see on the other
Chavili.
side, folks.
Stands in
Strike
here.
one.
Tried to hold back his swing there, but went around.
By the way, this is the second straight World Series we've been in where it's been raining. Strike two. Yes, it is.
Frozen on that heater right down the middle.
Seems
and
like a place where
that's
it
just
will
not
rain
getting
a good
by.
amount.
Now he's in a tough spot,
All
especially
right,
if they follow
with the
behind
pitch, this can be the third World Series for the Guardians. Fouled off, though.
As he fouls it away.
Also, third one in Cleveland, too. All right,
Looking to get the
Angel
tying run
Chavili.
on base.
That ball's hit,
Lifted in the air
but it
down
gets
the left
down.
side, and that'll fall for a base hit.
So that'll make it man on first
Tremendous fight from him, and
for Helio
I know he's got the dugout
Ramos.
fired up down there, down to the last strike, and he comes up with a hit to keep the
Bailey
game
with the pitch.
alive. It ain't over yet.
That ball's popped
Sends
up.
it to
Is that
center,
going to
and
get
this
out?
should be it.
Or
And
no,
that's it. They've won
that
the
is
World
out.
Series.
That is 3 World Series for the Cleveland Guardians as Angel Chavili gets the 4-out save after the 45-minute rain delay. And the Guardians win a 3rd World Series here in 2033 in the Travis Bazzana era. All they needed to do was to not play Jose Ramirez, apparently. That was my fault. I apologize. If I was not playing Jose Ramirez and I wasn't being loyal to my guys, we would have, been so much better. Also, if DeLauder all of a sudden went from 196 to 297, which makes sense, he just, it is what it is. Bazzana didn't have as good of a year this year, 273, 31 home runs. So a little bit of a peaky year there, but still a good year for him this past season. Still 6.8 WAR. So, yeah, that's 3 World Series for Bazzana. He is now won in 2029, 2026, and 2033. And he's still only 30 years old, so he has a shot to win more. And this team is still pretty good. But Jose Ramirez does get to the Hall of Fame. 484 home runs, 2,700 hits, average 272 for his career. Respect to Jose Ramirez. good on him for being able to get into the Hall of Fame, even in game. And in 2034, Bazzana gets a second MVP. That's above the Nolans. 38 home runs. So he went from 319, 45 home runs, 273, 31 to 313, 38 home runs. Just increased his double production. He just can't play 162 games. Not as good when he plays 162. Over 400 on base percentage for the first time in his career. Not as good as that last year, but actually, when you consider the defense, maybe it was better than his first MVP. So he's got 2 MVPs. This is his first Gold Glove as well. Silver Slugger, 3-time All-Star already. Now the question is, can this lead to another MVP? By the way, William Santo. So I talked all that trash about not being able to pick and draft pitchers. Looks like William Santo was fine. So I don't know what I'm talking about. Roki Sasaki won the MVP on the other side, by the way. I did see, there was one year. Last year in the Cy Young race for like majority of the season was Emil Reyes. So we traded him for Sasaki for the one season, and he has been very, very good over in Colorado. Esposito, by the way, was a guy that we didn't draft instead of MacArthur, and he's finally becoming a legitimate guy in the for the Rockies. Though Manuel Feliz seems to be better for batting titles and all that. I do want to go look because league leaders, Yamashita Whip, Santo WAR, RBIs, base on balls, WAR for Bazzana this past season, as he was very good. Hey, there's Dietz, the guy that another guy that we wanted to draft. Also, Quan signed with the Angels and set up with us because I don't have control. If I had control, I would have paid him, but I don't. So. Let's see if this ends up being another World Series. I should say, I will take control of one thing. When Bazzana's contract comes up, or at least when I can give him an extension, I am going to give him a very, very long extension. So let's see. Is this going to be another World Series team? They get the White Sox for like the 3rd year in a row. With a sweep over the White Sox, the Red Sox, who, by the way, I think they faced in, I believe that was the last ALCS too. So it's always the Red Sox. Another one, and now it's the Nationals. So the Nationals won one World Series. We get Santo versus Sasaki in Game 1. Burns versus Shell in Game 2. That's a loss. Game 3 is Yamashita versus Tiedemann. Game 4, Rosario versus Franco. That is a 3-1 series. Let's just simulate it. 2-3. Simulate this one. 12-2. The Guardians win a 4th World Series in the Bazzana era. Caballero, the first baseman that we drafted, gets World Series MVP. And Michael Odom, the first overall pick in 2029, I want to say, gets the playoff MVP for a 2nd straight year, actually. World Series MVP, the other one, playoff MVP this time. With Bazzana hitting 2 home runs this time in this playoff run. So, building a dynasty here, as we are now 4 World Series in with the Cleveland Guardians, and this team doesn't look like it's going anywhere. It is still stacked. Notably, if you notice, there's one guy missing from this team, or at least not missing, but way worse. That is Jeff MacArthur, the guy that we drafted instead of Rene Esposito in our first draft. He is already down to an 83 overall. He's regressed so hard since we got him. This contract kind of hurts right now with how much he's regressing. So, yeah. Well, we move, I guess. Another World Series in the bag. I'm kind of shocked that they would do it for him, but that the game gave Shane Bieber a Hall of Famer. I mean, we legitimately would say that he would be, but I'm surprised that Mlbtheshow actually is going to regard him as a Hall of Fame pitcher, which, I mean, he is. 205 wins, 116 losses, 2,600 strikeouts, 2 Cy Youngs, 3.23 ERA for his career. He was dominant the whole time. I'm glad to see what he was able to do. I just thought it was funny because, like, generally, I don't see the game give pitchers Hall of Fame. But Shane Bieber got it, and deservedly so. After a disappointing Game 7 exit in the ALCS in 2035 that I did not show, we are in 2036 with another division title, as we seem to do since I relinquished controls to the CPU. And Bazzana wins another MVP, winning it in 2032, 2034, and 2036. That's 3 for him. 54 home runs. Yeah, so there's some regression from the contact side of things. He's down to a 283 average. There's actually regression across the board for him. It's kind of the time when you start to see it. 10 years in the MLB, but 54 home runs. That's an insane season from him this year. What type of WAR are we looking at? Defensively, he's a little worse this year, so 8.2 WAR from him this season. But yeah, another MVP. And also, Charlie Condon gets an MVP on this side. So the first pick and the third overall pick, the two position players win their respective awards in the MVP race this past year, which is kind of cool. Kind of cool to see. I do want to look. We're just going to look at lineup wise. 300 from Pease, 252 from Castilla, 283, 321 for Caballero. DeLauder's at 295. Chen is a 91 overall now. Connor Griffin's an 88 overall. Yeah, fun team all around, really. So let's oh my god, I saw Reggie. Was that Reggie? They have Reggie. Yeah, Reggie. Also Bobby Flyer. So pretty good year for this team. Now, can they win another World Series? So last season, like I said, they went to Game 7 of the ALCS. They lost to the Astros. We get the White Sox again. They advance there, and they get their chance of revenge against the Astros. We're going to go to Game 4. Just see what happens. Clean sweep. Clean sweep over the Astros. Now it's the time for the Reds. Jack Caglione is a pitcher in this. So, Game 1. William Santo loses that one. Yamashita versus Caglione is an 8-9 loss. Larry Diamond versus Brian Jimenez. Yeah, this doesn't look good. Not a sweep. Still not a sweep. Oh my god, we're in Game 7. Let's do it. So they won 2 World Series in a row. Then they lost in Game 7 in the ALCS to the Astros, who went on to win the World Series. So let's quick manage and let's, win another one. Larry Diamond going to be taking the mound here for us. And that's a pretty good chance for a Bazzana World Series MVP if we can pull this off. It's also Churio versus Churio. Oh no, do we not have Churio anymore? Oh, we don't. I know they've had Jackson Churio the whole time. That's why I said that, but we do not have Jason Churio anymore. The triple for Pease. Castillo cannot get him in. Ground out for Bazzana. Single for Caballero. Fielder's choice. Not a lot of offense in this one. Still like nothing, just all defense, all pitching. Caballero with a single. Strikeout for DeLauder. Strikeout for Chen. Double. It's a man on second and third for Connor Griffin, who walks. Bases loaded for Almquist. Fielder's choice. All right, pitching change. We got to go here to probably... I don't know who's the best here. Ponson? No, not Ponson. I don't want to do 2 innings of Flyer. Ryan Young? Ryan Young. Walk. Double. That's 2 runs we're going to have to make up here in the bottom of the 8th. Pease grounds out. Castilla with a single. Bazzana strikes out. A single for Caballero. That's men on the corners for DeLauder, who walks. Bases loaded for Chen, who flies out. All right. This is it.
Now pitching for
against
Cincinnati,
the Reds closer, Alexi Huerta. Strikeout. Solo home run from Connor Griffin. That changes things. It is a 2-1 game. Line out. Let's enter the game. Can they pull this off? Can they pull off the 3-0 comeback against the Cincinnati Reds?
Welcome if you just joined us. John Shelby and Chris Singleton
Charles
as
Pease.
we've got 2 away in the ninth.
At bat.
Fouled off.
Big
He was
foul
late.
ball. Give the Cleveland fans what they want to see. Give them 5 World Series, please.
They're down to
Why
their
are you
final
swinging at
strike.
that?
No fair right
Oh,
there.
2 count.
I mean, that slider didn't move to the very last moment. Incredibly
With the
difficult
pitch.
to pick that up. Just gonna have to tip your cap.
Ball outside.
That misses. It's a ball in 2 strikes.
This is a big one. Charles Pease, if he can get on base,
The Guardians down to their final strike. Up the middle.
that little bouncer, is it going to be enough?
Fires to first on the run.
He is not fast
And the
enough.
Cincinnati Reds,
Reds win. In Game 7, we do not complete the comeback. The Reds instead win the 2036 World Series. It's too bad. Larry Diamond put together a fantastic game. Just offense didn't show up. And that's another World Series appearance this year in 2037. So let's see if we can get it again this time. So that's a loss in Game 1. Game 2, Yamashita versus Morales, is a win. Game 3 against the Pirates is a win. Clemente Garcia now in Game 4 versus Val Potter. That's another win. For the series, that's a win. World Series win. That's their 5th. They are now 5-1 in the Travis Bazzana era in the World Series. Devin Katimer wins World Series MVP, and Travis Bazzana with the playoff MVP. Katimer, surprisingly, who is 29, he's in year 4, playing mostly a bench role. We drafted very, very well in those late. I mean, pretty much every draft we did was just stacking this team. Now, Bazzana is regressing. He hit 300 this year. He had 33 home runs, 45 doubles. So he's still very, very productive. But it's kind of what I thought. He's going to get to around 2030, 2038, 2039, about a couple of years where he is all of a sudden no longer going to be that viable. And I'll probably hit the retake control and put him in the DH to the end of his contract. So we're going to go till 2042 with him, where I'm going to attempt to do it. Now we can see if he can get another MVP, but I don't necessarily believe he will. It's tough for him because I hope that he can get it in 2038. He was 4th this past season in it. He was sitting in like the top 3 for most of the season, but fell out at the end of the MVP race. But still very, very good bat. Very, very good production. Still getting stolen base. Actually, is that as high in stolen bases? It is. That's kind of crazy. But still playing very, very well. Didn't play like 162 games or anything like that this year, but very productive. Still 6 WAR season. So he's at 72 WAR. That is outpacing Jose Ramirez already. I mean, obviously he's an MVP winning player. So this is a Hall of Fame level career for Travis Bazzana. I think that there's no doubt that he is a Hall of Fame caliber player, winning 5 so far, 5 World Series. And it's not over, baby. It's not over. We got more to go. Is that a 3rd straight World Series appearance? You know it. 2038. Can we do it again? This time it's the Mets. We lose 2-3 in Game 1. Larry Diamond in Game 2. That's a 0-2 deficit. Don't like to see that. 0-3 deficit. I lost faith. We at least made it to 6 games. But not 6 World Series for us this time. Charles Pease gets the playoff MVP for us this year. But the Mets were too good. Hey, Nick Kurtz, one of the guys. I think that's the A's pick. Yeah. Good career for him. 355 home runs, over 2,000 hits. 1 home run championship in 2038 this year. 43 home runs. Good for him. And for the first time going below 500 in his entire career, I think that is pretty much where we are going to call it here in 2042. Now, he has one more year left on his deal because they cut... I must not have looked at his contract correctly, and they must have had an option on that, $50 million in that last deal, so they cut him. But I said I was going to go to 2042, so we went to 2042. He was not good in 2042. Hit 212 in this last year, so he has technically one more year left, but they're going to cut him. So that's it. So Travis Bazzana, for his career, ends up getting 3 MVPs, a Rookie of the Year, a Hank Aaron Award, 6 All-Star appearances, which seems low. I think realistically in real life he would get more, but you know how the game goes. It's kind of based on overall. Gold Glove in 2034, 3 Silver Sluggers. The second base position in the AL was stacked for a while. Colt Keith, Nolan Gorman, and Travis Bazzana, all very, very good. Nolan Gorman got an MVP. Bazzana got 3, obviously. Colt Keith was very competitive for several years. The second base position was actually pretty stacked over the years that Bazzana was here. Oh my God, he's so bad against lefties. So, in his career, he ends up getting 2,567 hits, 454 home runs, 1,482 RBIs, 523 in doubles. Average for his career is 275, and his WAR went down. Horrible season from him. He was technically around, or he had been about 80 WAR before this last year, so looks like I may have tanked him a little bit by bringing him back. I should not have. But 77.6 is still very, very good for a career. He had a horrible last season. This is a Hall of Fame career, I'd say, for Bazzana. And on top of that, 5 World Series in that time period. So you really can't... Did I get 6? I'm losing count already. Was that 6? 6 World Series or 5? Was it 6? Five. And so, yeah, I think that ends up being a pretty good career for him. I'd also say, like, it's not nothing to sneeze at. The guys that we drafted. Also, we ended up having some crazy pitchers that we drafted. We got a Cy Young out of Garcia. Santo had 3 Cy Youngs. I want to say another one of the pitchers that we drafted had a Cy Young. This reliever, who I think I traded for assets, 1 reliever of the year. He's at 400 saves in his career. And then lineup wise, guys that they've had in the lineup. First off, they have this guy, so it's kind of like a little bit of a mirror image to Jose for Bazzana, who has another infield partner who ends up being kind of a generational talent here in Christian Lowry to end up taking his spot. But Caballero was very good. Silver Slugger, World Series MVP, 4 All-Stars. He's been in MVP races. I think Odom was as well. But they also had the issue of because of Bazzana's contract, they weren't able to keep most of the guys. So you didn't see a lot of the guys stick around that ended up being very, very good. And it sucks to see, but it's also just management of money. At some point, you're going to run out of cash, and they ran out of cash. And nothing to be surprised of when you really consider what this team ended up being able to do in the time that they had Travis Bazzana. For challenges that we set out for ourselves, we wanted to win multiple World Series. We wanted one where it was still Jose Ramirez on the team. We succeeded in that. He got 2. We wanted one where Bazzana was the best player on the team, and we ended up getting like 4 of those. I think you could call maybe 3 of them, because I think by the time that we got about the 2038 one, he was no longer on the top. But we wanted MVPs. He got 3 of those. We wanted Silver Sluggers. He got 3 of those. We wanted a Gold Glove. He got 1 of those. We wanted home run. Everything that we kind of wanted, we got that. We got the hardware for him. We got the championships. He ended up getting 5 in his career. The only thing I will say that we failed to do was put another Australian on the team. And the reason for that is because this game sucks at auto-generating Australians. I think I still have not, like, we saw one in like 7 drafts, one Australian, and the guy was like a D potential first baseman. So yeah, that's it for Travis Bazzana and our Guardians franchise. I'm not going to sim to see when he goes into the Hall of Fame. I'm confident that that's a Hall of Fame player. We don't need to see it necessarily. And so I want to thank you all so much for watching, being patient with me, because I know it's been a while since I put up a video, for at least an MLB video. And so thank you so much for watching. And I hope to see you next time in our next video. And I hope you enjoyed. Adios.